Great time, man. Great time.
Yeah.
Great time here. This is the Squad Games podcast. This is what we
sure
do.
It is.
Episode, I think, 115.
I think it's 116, my guy.
Oh, it might be 116. Honestly, I forget until I look it up and then I go, oh, that's the number.
Yeah. To be honest, with third edition, so close around the corner, right? I think they just dropped on Sunday. Did they say when the pre-release is?
Yes, you can do the
Or
pre-order this coming Saturday.
Okay. So yeah,
right, All Valley Day.
Yeah, on the All Valley, we'll all know how to play Kill Team 3rd Edition. So
yeah,
it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Yeah, and I can't wait to make videos on 3rd Edition, you know?
Me neither, man. Like, I'm excited for it. It's a new edition. We're hitting that 3-year mark, and I don't want to say the game got kind of stale, but, like, there's definitely, like, patterns of very similar stuff.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot of... for quite a hot second, like, I think it was, like, all of Season 2. It was like, here's a guard team. They all have a comms, and they all have a plasma, a melta, and this. Or, here's a Xenos team with a dog or a bird.
Right. I mean, from a creative standpoint, I can get that there's going to be some overlap as long as they're able to fundamentally make teams have a different play style.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can live with that,
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. And with the new edition, all the new teams getting like either a glow up or something, or modified rules. This is a good time for a lot of people to get to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some that are obvious winners when you look at a few of the stuff that they have released. Like, there's some obvious winners, but then there's a lot of, like, these, for lack of a better word, to put it in terms that you'll understand for sure, like a jungler will gank somebody, like out of nowhere. It'll be like, oh, you didn't see that coming, and you thought you were...
I like where this is going.
Just like it comes out and gets you. Like Commandos for the longest time, no one was like, well, no, that's not true. People were always like hot on them, but they didn't really explode until like the end here.
They
but
exploded when they were
good,
the counter to
the counter
to Colts. They're like,
That's
this
right.
team is so good in the Colts. Oh my gosh! And then it turns out the best Colt player in the world was like, yeah, I don't care if you bring orcs. I'm going to beat the shit out of you anyways.
Exactly. It didn't matter.
All right, cool. Yeah,
but,
so
that's yeah.
So we're going to talk today a little bit about the ups and downs of the 2021 Kill Team version. We're going to talk about some of the previews that Games Workshop has shown for the new teams, what we're most excited for, what we're not excited for. Giacomo, I think you have the actual list because we were normally we don't struggle to decide what we want to talk about.
Yeah,
but this time we were like, yo, Discord, what do you want us to talk about? And they're like, yo, let's talk about Kill Team farming. And I was like, I don't know if that's a thing. But let's go with some of the other things.
my guess for Kill Team farming would be like, putting spruce in the ground and seeing what grows.
Probably nothing.
It's just bad plastic.
I'm not an orc. I'm not an orc.
I'm also not a farmer, but I could probably tell you that putting plastic in the soil isn't going to make it grow.
In fact, it would probably do worse things. Giacomo, what's on your hat?
It's a little Sasquatch.
Oh, it looked like a warp spider.
Let me.
Yeah, that's a Sasquatch for sure.
That's a little Sasquatch.
That's fair.
I'm not like even a believer in Sasquatch. I just like the design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be pretty cool though to get like a little Xenos or something up here. That could be pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be like an Orca Grot or something.
Yeah, I like that.
That could be a fun shirt.
Yeah,
not shirt, a hat.
So we have. Oh, I gotta press this button.
Oh, he's got to press that button. Get the printers running up. We're multitasking here.
We are.
What we do.
So there's a lot of both lasers going behind me are on 5-hour long cuts.
Nice.
Making a lot of cool stuff, a lot of new stuff. Looking to reopen the store here pretty soon. Trying to change the business model, but that's besides the point. Gee, I wanted to show you something.
Oh, I wanted to see it.
See what you think.
Ooh. Hold on, let me get closer to my screen.
Want to get your live reaction, Huh?
Hey, that's pretty sick.
It is, right? And I
I
made this little 3D printed stand, that
Oh!
goes on. what's cool about this one is that this can also be the lid to your token tray that I'm making.
Oh, shit. Look at that. That's cool.
Or it can sit on your desk like it is right in front of me. Here, I'll put it back here as
like an art piece.
A soft flex, if anyone else can see it. Cool.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's a little harder from here, but for those
hard.
listening, it was our Squad Games Marine, tastefully cut into some acrylic in a nice scored pattern, engraving on it against a black gloss background, so it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice.
That is pretty cool. That's a fun little art piece to have on like a desk or something, or as you mentioned, use as the lid.
Well, it'll be yours because it says Giacomo.
It does say my name. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So yeah, doing a lot of stuff here, making a lot of new stuff for Kill Team. Looking forward to releasing those here soon. But that's all besides the point. Talk about last edition. Interesting thing. The very first second I ever saw the tokens for the last edition, I made knockoff versions and I started selling them on Etsy. And I started, when they released the pictures of this token set, I started doing the same thing. Store went great before, and then a couple fires and floods happened, destroyed my livelihood. So I had to become a plumber. Right, this is Dakota's life story for Kill Team 2018. Outside of also being a TO, and I got 2 new lasers to restart the business. The big laser still dead. Still working with Full Spectrum Laser to get it up and running again. Because that's the second time my $10,000 laser has burned down. These are both, I think, $7,000, $8,000 laser glow forges, but that's besides the point. So looking forward to making the best product that I can and trying to get it out to everyone without major delays. But Giacomo, your life story, what were you doing at the start of this edition? What happened in your life to where you're at now?
All right, so if it's 2021, we'll skip to that part.
Okay.
I'm living in a different place than I am right now.
Okay.
And I wasn't really doing a whole lot. I was like playing Warhammer 40K and that was it. And then you called me one day. And you're like, hey, I'm making tokens for this one thing. Like, hey, do you think this is like a good idea? Like, what do you think about this thing? And we would just talk for hours about tokens. This was before Squad Games was formed and before we were like really hanging out again. And you were just telling me about all these tokens, and you're like, oh, man, I don't want to waste all your time. And I would tell you, I literally am not doing anything. You can talk my ear off. It doesn't matter. I at this point, I was unemployed, like the great unemployment for a lot of people before I found a job again. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I literally paint for Frontline Gaming, and I don't do anything else all day. Like, you could talk to me all day. Like, this is fine. So then, you kind of reminded me of Kill Team, and I remembered, like, oh, I really like 2018's Kill Team. Let me look into this. And I like the look of the Commandos, so I bought Commandos. I split the box with a friend. He got the Veteran Guardsman. And I don't know what happened to the terrain. I want to say... Oh, I think I kept it. Yeah, I think that's how I got the Commando terrain. The Octarius terrain, that is. And, I never finished those Commandos. I finished other teams before them, because, that's what you do. But, I liked it. And then from that point on, we started playing games, and... then we decided to do this. You came up with the idea of doing Squad Games, and I was on board for it. And then,
I think you were the idea for the podcast.
You were
like, let's do a podcast. I was like, what's a podcast?
Yeah, and that was purely because, like, at the time you would ask me, like, oh, how should we sell these tokens, right? Like, or what advice would you give me, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, we could do that, but we could also do a podcast to help promote it, because podcasts. Anyone who does a podcast, not just us, any podcast you ever hear is a form of social media to help get the word across and help connect with audiences, which is normal, right? Like, this is a way for us to get to talk to all the people who listen to us weekly. We appreciate you guys for listening to us as long as you have, and all the new listeners coming as well. So this is a way for us to kind of, like, instead of a newsletter, like, we're talking to you directly about all the new stuff happening. Like, as we hear about our tournaments and things, we like to mention it. And also we like to generally talk about the topic, which is Kill Team in this sense. So even though we talk about, like, all the new stuff you might be making, it's because we have such a passion for this game that it made sense for us to do this type of stuff for it, not just to promote our own brand, but like, you know, because technically, if you think about it, a lot of these brands that do this wouldn't exist if not for the game itself and the community that exists for it, you know? So everybody here makes this possible. And that, yeah, that, you know, like we were doing the podcast for that and it became more. And then we started doing the YouTube channel and Hobby Highlander became its own thing. And I'm really proud of that one. Like I remember Dakota came and told me that idea and he was like, what do you think about this? And I was on board, you know, like I was sold. It was a good idea. So of course I was going to do it.
Yeah. It's interesting. The business wise, like the business aspect of Kill Team never took off. It's more became like just like a side thing, passion thing. It was more, I think we grew more as squad games, just running tournaments. And then obviously the most with the podcast and then the YouTube channel. Us as creators really have changed quite a lot since our inception, you know?
That's insightful. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, didn't think I was going to do YouTube. Like, didn't think that'd be something I would just do. Like I was casually did it, but this one we're more on a schedule, you know? So it's nice. It's interesting in addition to our day jobs.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like, you know, this is fun.
I think I started the Luster's Workshop more as outside of selling Batman cowls and Wonder Woman tiaras and stuff that I would like make out of like, you know, sculpting and urethane and metal. You know, it was a lot more of like trying to make money. And then it slowly became not being able to make enough money. So having to find a job. And then the disasters that happened really just shut everything down. And then we just really focused on like what's different about Luster's Workshop compared to Squad Games, and Squad Games became its own thing. And
yeah,
really grew and became like our main aspect and kind of like everything else from there. Right.
I mean, not to mention just like the community members we've met too, like going all the way from up north, going to Utah, going like even further SoCal, people from Canada, from like the UK. You know, it's cool, like getting to meet all those people, like in Vegas, working with Frontline.
Absolutely.
And doing this. It's like, these are opportunities when I would just go to Frontline gaming events that I'd never think I'd be like actually part of it. Like I was just always going to be a player. And then now,
well, it was crazy.
Now we're part of it, you know?
Our first year we went from a 7-player tournament to running the world's largest 87-person tournament.
Right. Yeah. That's
Team.
Nuts, right?
I mean, think about this. Our very first year of Kill Team beat Nova this year. This 3 years in. Like Nova had 76 players.
It's nuts. And then
Kill Scream last year had 64 players.
They're moving up. They're coming too.
The only other event that really is a couple Spanish events, Warhammer Worlds and Kill Team Open. When Kill Team Open was the thing. When Kill Team Open was the thing, they also tied us with 87 competitive, and then they had a narrative. So they had more Kill Team players at their venue than we did. Yep. But competitively wise, we were the same. And then Warhammer Worlds eventually got 128. Or no, 118, 117. And then we came back last year at LVO and beat them. And it was interesting because that's kind of like where our competitive streak went and lied. And, you know, just outside of teams and stuff, it's rather interesting looking back at like our history during this edition, because also like we didn't do stats. We didn't think about stats. And all of a sudden, like we grew more and more and more and wanted to know more and more and more. And then we did so many stats, you know, we started providing stats for Games Workshop, and then they're balancing, you know, ever since Hot Sauce Teddy kind of fell off the map, you know, then they needed other places to look, you know?
Right. And that's a lot of work. So shout out to David for helping us aggregate those numbers, and, you know, we appreciate it. Getting community support, you know, like everyone does something, whether they're hosting tournaments in your own area, because, you know, we can't be everywhere. But if people are still playing, like I always get excited when I look at like Peru has a Kill Team scene, like, you know, my home country. Like I just think like, oh, that's rad, you know, because I'm aware of the country. It's not always like first world. It's it's partially, but like to get to see that grow in like it's exciting to me, and I feel like Kill Team makes sense because it's like it's affordable.
I hope I lose to whoever. I hope I play the guy from Peru at Worlds and he beats me.
I hope you crush him, just so you can say like, just like your soccer team get crushed.
If I beat them, I'll say that.
Incredible.
I'll be like I'm sorry, but my Peruvian friend told me to tell you that if I beat you, your soccer team sucks worse.
Well, I didn't say it like that. I just said they got crushed.
Oh, they got crushed.
Oh man, my voice is dry. I'll be coughing up a storm here. Yeah, apologies ahead of time.
We're both on extreme lack of sleep. You may not see a lot of content coming out of Squad Games right now, but we have been very hard at work at things and stuff. So yeah, quite exhausted, to say the least. Question, G.
Answer.
We started this podcast right about, I think, when the Corsairs were coming out, I believe.
Yeah, Nachmund was new.
Yep, when Nachmund was new. Out. And then we had to kind of backtrack to Octarius and a few other things, start looking at different stuff, trying to learn the rules to be tournament organizers, blah, 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 blah. Season 1, what do you think was the most busted team?
In Season 1? Oh, Pathfinders. Pathfinders and Novitiates, when you could take unlimited grenades.
Yeah, Vedguard were also really bad with unlimited grenades, but Pathfinders never really took off in the States outside of Biernid, right? He's a whole nother subject, but I think he did well at that year's LVO, and we kind of went to, and he was the only one to really bring Pathfinders and do well with Pathfinders, but no one else really knew at LVO. And that's like completely after Season 1, I believe. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cause we were going to get Into the Dark the following year when they released,
that's the year we took
Navy
over.
Breachers and Farstalker. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Novitiates were new, Pathfinders were brand new, so they weren't like huge, but there was like a weird way that you could activate 7 models in a row, and they had to come out and quickly hotfix the game so that you could only ever GA2 2 people in a row. Gosh, if that stuck around, this game would not be where it's at. So
dude, if they stuck around with unlimited grenades, Jesus.
Hats off to Games Workshop on that. You guys acted really fast at fixing that. But yeah, I think that Pathfinders were really busted. Novitiates were actually really busted, but really difficult to play. Mm-hmm. Commandos turned out to be one of the most busted factions. Just no one unlocked the potential of the team.
Yep, no one saw it.
And then they got a buff that got him 1 extra model. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. And then they remained dominant for 365 days or more. It was insane.
I mean, I'm generally in favor of always getting to take pets in Kill Team. Like, I still think Navy Breachers should be able to get the Geist Skull and the Cat if you take the corresponding models, but they have to activate together, kind of thing. So I'm totally for it, but I understand the problem because suddenly having 11 activations is like it just tilts it in your favor just slightly. That's all you need,
Dude,
so I get it.
When Phobos came out, I remember you played them like the day of at like our first tournament. I did
so bad with them.
Yeah, it makes sense because of how hard they are to play.
Better men than me have now succeeded.
That's true.
Yeah. Shout out to David. At least I know him off the top of my head. That like plays him pretty well. He's got his roles down.
Yeah, his murder snuggles. So we have, and then we had like. Blooded came out and everyone thought they were like awful. It turns out they're actually okay.
It's just secretly good too.
Yeah.
They were actually the better one in the box.
Every team is secretly good. And then I think the next season came out right after that, right? And it was Hyrotech Circle versus Navy Breachers.
Casterkin. You might be thinking Farstalker Kinband versus Navy Breachers.
Okay.
That was the box release.
That was the box release. You're right.
That's where I'll argue where you could say one team that was not actually secretly good was Farstalker Kinband.
They still suck. So
they still suck.
You're not wrong.
I mean, as we'll discuss later, they're gonna get some nice stuff.
So here's the thing. Farstalkers are so bad that there's like 2 people in the world that can run them well. Everyone else sucks with them. And if you want to prove me wrong, take them to a tournament in the next like couple weeks and win. You know? Otherwise, my statement is 100% fact.
Yeah, and otherwise Dakota's soccer team is bad, you know?
Exactly. So that's rather interesting that they came out so bad. Navy Breachers were actually super Giga Chad.
Oh, I saw it in my head. I knew they were going to be good.
Yeah, when you had certain people telling us that they were going to start playing that team, you knew the team was already going to be good.
You're like, okay, I get it, you know, because the person in question, it's generally a male-dominated sphere.
Yeah.
So I can say he. When he had told us, like, oh yeah, this is going to be a great team, I'm like, I bet it is, because you're pretty good at this game, and you know, you probably know some stuff that I don't know, so I'm gonna trust your word for it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know what these things are yet.
But they're gonna be good.
And then we had right before our very first All Valley team tournament with the 43 people turnout, year 1. It's interesting. We went 43, 53, 67, 62, 63. So we're just going up by 10 a year. 10 a year.
Hey, that's not bad. 10,
yeah, in 3 more years, we'll be at like 90. Take that, Nova.
We could explode. It could be, you know, next year we could hit 100, you know?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully everyone...
maybe we do All Valley in a different city, you know?
Maybe. We'll have to see. But yeah, so the very first team tournament, we had a Pathfinders player. So the team that won was Gellerpox, Pathfinders, and Higher Tech Circle.
That's right.
Higher Tech Circle on release. Gellerpox on release. Pathfinders semi-nerfed. Pathfinder player went on to win every round. Gellerpox player won every round. And, you know, Higher Tech Circle lost everything. And they won the whole event because 2 players won every time. And I don't blame the guy for... Hey, Necrons are cool. Who knew they were so bad? Because it was like a week after they released. It was super, super cool.
Another team that needed a massive rework.
They are probably the worst team to release in the history of Kill Team.
Probably, right? And then did get a very good change. And they have a little bit of a nerf now, but they're still very playable.
Yeah.
Compared.
So. Now they are. Unlike Farstalker.
Farstalker's still like, you know, you're coming for a good time, man. And you just like your bird people. That's all.
Yeah. So we forgot the first LVO. They also had some White Dwarf teams, but I think only Orion's Warp Coven made it to the top. Them and Giga Busted Void Dancers, like the Harlequin troop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, you can't shoot me unless you're within 2 inches. I was like, cool. I'm gonna put the sniper on engage, and I'm gonna run up to you within 2 inches and shoot you because I can't shoot you otherwise.
Right.
That was a time to be alive. You know, just run at them. Oh, I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna run at you and shoot you. You know, that's how you beat that team.
Honestly, yeah.
Compendium
had legs.
Yeah, there's a couple teams that still had legs. Let's see here. Who else? So that was the beginning of season 2. I don't even remember what came. Oh, was it?
Well, season 2 was that.
That was Into the Dark. It's Into the Dark.
That was Into the Dark. Was that around the time that we did? We went to Baltimore.
Yes.
Was that
that's
right?
We went to Kill Team Open. Well, that was LVO happened, right? Where we ran LVO.
We went to this.
And then they couldn't beat us. You know, it was great. We both got to keep the record, you know, of being the largest kill team U.S. history, because I think Spain beat us quickly after that. But Spain doesn't have big enough venues to hold like 200 players like LVO.
Yeah,
you know, that's one of the harder things, is to find a venue. Because when we went to Kill Team Open, the number one worst thing about that place was it was nuts to butts.
You were
everywhere.
tight.
Nuts to butts. We didn't have a place for a dice tray. We didn't have a place for our token tray. We didn't have a place for our dead models. Like, I got mad at somebody because he put his dice tray on my mat. And I was like, yo, dude, like.
That's the board.
I'm playing here, my guy. You know, I'm near New York, so I might as well be in New York and get the fuck off my board, bro. You know?
No, I agree. Like, you know,
you and Glass Half Dead casted Kill Scream, right?
He was my co-anchor.
Yeah.
While the stream was up and down, it was going all over the place. He was, and then Ryan from Command Point at one point joined me as well.
Hell
to do it. So we had some fun. It was a good time. I want to point one thing out real quick. Since we were talking about how tight the place was, one thing I can always appreciate, and yeah, of course, this is a little bit of, you know, a plug for ourselves, but you know, using the trays and stuff you have, just like, because it's all magnet and it can just go up. Like, there's times where I have it, I'll have the model tray, I'll have the dice roller, and then I'll have the token things, and I can just quickly switch them out because they're magnetic, and I could just have it all like right next to me because it's in a space, and it just conveniently fits upward, so I don't have to have like it more scattered throughout like I used to with old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice, just to have everything like scaled up, and it's easier and it takes less space. Because even in game stores, like the one I go to pretty often, the Kill Team zone, we're generally like in the back because they use the smaller tables for us, and you're really tight. So like having a small space that kind of an item that holds all your stuff and conveniently fits is nice. So I just wanted to point that out, and I don't really get to say that to you very often. You know,
Thanks,
like
man.
yeah, it's nice to just get to have everything work in one place.
I will say I'll be a non-shill. I will say that my token trays can be a detriment if there's not enough space. Like, typically we like to have 36 inches in between each player, right, at a minimum, right? That's what we do at LVO. That's what we do at every other event. We try to make sure there's at least 36 inches so that there's places for tokens and all that kind of stuff. But at a place like Kill Team Open, where there was no space, I found myself like, my tokens and all my cool little accessories and stuff really was a big detriment. And, you know, I think that's something to keep in mind in your guys' own play space, is to keep in mind, is 3D printed the way to go, or is like beautiful acrylic accessories the way to go? Obviously, I mean, I'll still go with my stuff.
Yeah,
I think it looks cool. Really cool.
Don't get me wrong. Like another issue with that is like, no matter how small or big it is, if you're so tight, it doesn't matter. Everything's going to be getting in the way. Right. But I prefer because I have more vertical distance than I have left and right.
True.
And on a table, like no one's standing above me.
Speaking of which, when I go to 40K events, I bring that little roller tray, which I have.
The roller tray, man. All my painting stuff on there. You have your paint stuff on there right now. Yeah. Mine's in my closet over there. You can't see it, but that's my closet. That's where I have it now. He's gonna whip his out right now. For those at home, this is like a 3-tiered cart system that is collapsible with wheels, and you see it all the time at LVOs.
You can't see it. That's cool.
It's okay. I described it for the audio onlys. Yeah, for the audies only. I don't know what to call them. So for all you audience only.
So I have
listening only.
I have this roller tray that has all my different paints that are non-GW. I have another bin of GW products.
Oh yeah. I think that's strictly above you.
It sure is, because I like contrast paints. Their paint range. If you want to see what we think about GW's paint range, you should check out Hobby Highlander, or you could tell by my smirk or my voice.
You should check out Hobby Highlander. I work on those jokes. No, yeah, but like, you know, those carts are invaluable. I was actually telling one of our friends who's going to it if they wanted to borrow my cart, assuming there's space, because I think it's just easier to like carry all your stuff there. Like, you can have a team, and especially because it's so small, you can really have your team and your display board, and then your teammates' display board on the bottom, because it's 3-tiered.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really have it all.
Your
man.
Books, your dice,
your books, anything
your
you
lunch,
need. Your drinks. Yeah, please bring food. That is one thing.
Your deodorant.
Yeah, deodorant, because I mean we're gonna get smelly. Like I bring deodorant in my bag, and I'm just sitting at the stream table, but I still get sweaty.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's part of the game. It's one thing I always tell people is bring something to eat, bring a lot of water, because I mean, yeah, you can go buy your food, but that's like, I mean, we generally give you enough time to try to have lunch, like we try to give you that, but not everywhere I've gone to does that. They're a little tighter on time, and you're like, okay, well, I gotta eat fast, you know. Or if you do go out, it takes like, 30 minutes to go get your food and back if you're at a far venue. So, bring a snack with you. Plus, you don't want to eat something that might upset your stomach, and you still got like 6 hours left to go.
Mm-hmm.
I did that once at a 40K thing, and I was like, this is an awful experience. And I was in Utah, so I was like, it is what it is. So I always recommend that.
So the other thing that I think we're going to try to do. All right. So wait, before I get to that point, let's finish last edition, and you have to tell me like the actual questions from Discord because I'm using a Discord as a camera, so I have no idea.
I will whip it out for you.
I guess I have my phone. I guess I could look that too. But G, what do you think is? So, what do you think is the strongest team from season 2? To me, it was definitely Felgor.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Breachers first, but then I remembered that the Felgor did come out in that final edition, and that was the summer of Melee.
Yeah,
it went on to the rest of the year of Melee.
Dude, there are some teams that came out in Into the Dark that are just awful. Like, I don't know who was playtesting. I don't know who was looking at stuff, but there were teams that just sucked. Knots sucked balls.
I would agree with you 100%. Like, I think the only real teams that were like top tier that made it out of there was the Felgor and were the Navy Breachers, and that was it. Like, that was it. Every other team had to get some kind of change, either a drastic one or like a slight one, because otherwise the teams just like did not really work. I mean, you could argue Hand of the Archon was like number 3 in teams that worked well, because the Cops did not. The Arbites kind of fell a little faster than you'd expect.
Mm-hmm. Arbites sucked balls.
Yeah.
Kasserkin sucked balls.
Excuse me.
The dwarves, the salvagers sucked balls.
I mean, there's
Farstalker Kinban, Hierotek Circle. Bro, there's so many teams in Season 2 that were just innately bad. Unlike
bad
Season 3.
Like, Season 3 had a different story, but Season 2 is like, they were bad, but not to the point where they were unplayable, but like you probably weren't going to win tournaments realistically. And I think that's normal for all games, right? Eventually champions rise. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's normal.
So Season 3... we had, well, actually still in Season 2, I guess, because they didn't release Season 3 until September, and then we had to wait until January. Awful.
We had a big lull. Lull.
So that was probably one of the harder times being a content creator, specifically around Kill Team.
Oh, so dry.
Was like we were like, let's do a deep dive on a team again. I don't even remember what we talked about. Dude, I remember one time we pulled on one of my favorite episodes we ever did. We pulled on Orion and Chris Baki, and we did a Jeopardy show on like kill teams that are definitely not coming to Kill Team, but should. And it was like really funny and they had to sell it to us, and we were the Sharksmen, the Shark Tank dudes.
The Sharks.
Yeah, that had to buy each one and give each person points. It was a good time. Like, we were coming up with crazy stuff. That's a really good episode if anyone's not listened to it. I think the first like 30 or 40 minutes we talk about how to play the edition, and then the end is just like craziness. I don't remember what episode that was. What
it was
episode
a while
number?
Ago.
Yeah,
it was before 100.
Yeah, it was.
Can you believe we've done over 100? It's nuts.
It's crazy. So then we did. So also in second edition was Inquisition and Colts.
Were Gellerpox and Star Striders also?
Gellerpox was technically Season 1 with White Dwarf. They were the Kill Team annual.
And that was Season 2, right? Yeah, I think that was Season 2, because then they threw the White Dwarfs in there as well. And they gave you all the updated stuff. That's right.
Gellerpox were also insane because I think
I
I think we got to do a tier list on our own, like what on release products were insane.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree on the majority of them. So season 3 came around. Dude, it was crazy that they showed off both teams, and then they started showing off teams for the next box 2 months before the box actually released. The first box released. It was insane. Mm-hmm. So Striking Scorpions was the next. The beginning of beta bad, and Scouts, and both factions, while good, were never great. I think that Scouts have obviously taken the reins as the better kill team currently. And then we had, what were the next 2 teams? Mandrakes and
Nemesis Claw,
Night Lords, which were both practically busted on release. I think
Mandrakes very strong.
Mandrakes in the right player's hands was S tier, and in the bad player's hands they were like D tier,
B plus,
dog water.
I always thought they were still okay because like their tricks are still strong, and forcing you to like worsen your armor save. Like if you're 2 APL, your armor save is 5+ now.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter if you were playing against dwarves who have a 3-up armor save now. It's like, oh, you have a 5-up armor actually. It's just nuts.
And then we had Brood Brothers versus
the Jaegers. Yeah, which were all about their speediness deployment, their forwarding.
I think we all know
Brood
how
Brothers
good Brood
had
Brothers
so
are.
much good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see the box? This is one thing I want to point out. So they showed some of the box art in the Brood Brothers one. You don't get any of the heroes. which here's how I think it makes sense. Brood Brothers themselves are a part of Gene Stealer Cult. So you don't want to be a Gene Stealer Cult player who doesn't play Kill Team and has to buy this box for the thing, and then have like 5 different patriarchs like that you never need again. Like you don't need the little Tyranid familiar guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get it, right? Yeah. I just kind of hope they release a kit. They do sell that kit, right? Where it's like all the patriarch models.
I don't know.
I
guess we'll have to see because they're rebranding. I mean, we'll look at them in a second. They're rebranding for sure. So, G, what are your top three busted teams? There's quite a few busted teams, and it's hard to pick what was the strongest.
Should we go busted per season or busted overall? Because
on release, busted on release, yeah.
On release. Okay, so on release in season 1, for me it was definitely the Novitiates, the Pathfinders, and let's see, a third one from that season.
No, just overall. It has to be the entirety of Kill Team Edition now.
Oh, okay, the entirety? Okay.
Everything.
So
you can only choose 3.
Let me remove some of those.
Okay.
Okay. Colts was the first one, in my opinion, because Colts is a team that I don't think there's as many actual enjoyers. Like, there's definitely more fans of Kroot, like, that are diehard fans. Like, I'm playing Beaks till I die, where Colts fans were like, hey, this team is so broken in a way that I want it to be, that I'm about to play them. And as soon as they were gone, I'm like, all right, I'm throwing these away. It's broken, but not in the way I want, right? So Colts I will still say it's the top problem, because it was like, okay, this game is actively getting ruined by this team. Felgor was number 2 because they were like strong, and even with the nerfs, they were still strong, and it was one of the teams you could really just be like an okay player and do so well with them. Like the scoring was so high, it was insane.
For which team?
For Felgor. Like it was insane the way they played. Like, how do you beat this? You know, you thought you killed them, no, you didn't, and they get to hit you one more time and kill you, then they die. Like, what the heck? You know,
mm-hmm.
It was awful. And there was such a stressful team to play against.
And you couldn't score tac ops against them. You couldn't score tac ops. You couldn't get pain tokens. You couldn't do anything. It's like, oh, you killed me. Not
right. They didn't fix that till later.
You have to kill me again.
And that was one of the worst feelings.
And there's a couple ding dongs that were arguing with me, telling me like, this is really good for they're not busted. And I took their word for it, and I was wrong. It was bad. It was bad.
It's ding good dongs, to admit that you can be wrong.
Ding dongs, indeed.
It does happen. And number 3, this is tough. So I don't know if I have a third one. Like, I could say that Gellerpox are strong, but they're not like innately to the point where I hate it, right? The same is true for Commandos. And although we joke here on Pathfinders, um, you can still beat Pathfinders, right? Like, there's a point where Pathfinders were dethroned. No matter how many jokes we say, like, oh yeah, we got to remove more models from them. Like, they're not Colts. They weren't that problematic.
Except when they had 7 activations in one
when they had, yeah, that's a different story.
That was on release.
So I'll give it to them for the on release. That was probably the worst thing.
Okay,
those are probably the top 3 with third place really, really below everything compared to the first 2. How about you?
On release, I'd probably go Pathfinder, Colts, Felgor. Now, I would put Gellerpox as the honorable mention, but there's only really been 2 people that have found tremendous success with Gellerpox. And in fact, they've found so much success with the team that the team continually gets nerf after nerf after nerf. And then Orion decided to play Felgor at LVO, play on stream 5 times to be like, hey, Games Workshop, you want to nerf this team again?
What a good sport. What a good sport.
And then
sure to give him water.
And then he was like, yeah, I don't want Gellerpox to get nerfed again, so I'm just going to take second, third with Felgor.
He had some sick Felgor, like the ones that kind of look like Wendigos. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. And then he went out and won with Gellerpox even after they've been nerfed 5 times in a row. So
the team is strong.
So since they did the patch on Pathfinders, I would take Pathfinders out of the meta and I would put Gellerpox there because they are so oppressive, but there's so few players that can run them effectively. And same with Pathfinders. Pathfinder suffered from a different thing, which was cheating. There was a lot of major players who cheated with the team, right? And that was
familiarity, and they just told their opponents it does this, and it's not always good.
Yeah, so ultimately that was a different issue entirely with Pathfinders, is that there's a lot of prominent people in the community who just cheated with Pathfinders because Pathfinders can do anything and do everything. And if you give them an extra inch of movement here and there, and you lie about a couple of their like grenades that doesn't need visibility, but it kind of does, and this and that, and like all these other kinds of things, like, you can get away with murder with a team. So
yeah. And I don't want to say it's just exclusively an issue of Pathfinders.
No, it's Wormblade too. Wormblade's
yeah, they could have done it with Wormblade. They could have done it with Vetguard. Like any number of teams could have had these issues.
But
but Pathfinders was the one that we knew about. Like
correct.
Yeah, so that was the big thing
in the states.
So I'll give
in the
states.
states.
In the states, and that's where our scene is mainly because we're very much U.S. based.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I think that Commandos is definitely up there on that list as well, as a secondary honorable mention, especially after they got their buff, because that buff lasted entirely too long before they came in. They had it. So Commandos were sitting at a healthy 45% win rate, never going down, never going up.
Beautiful.
And then they were like, hey, let's get Commandos to a 50% win rate. Let's give them an extra person. And then people were like, let's look at them. And then they got like Giga Chad busted. And then they were like, oh, we need to nerf them and nerf them and nerf them and nerf them. Well, you know what, guys? If you never gave them the extra model, maybe Just a Scratch never would have had to go away. Just saying.
I mean, to be fair, Just a Scratch should have never been able to do critical. Because it's like, okay, that's still like, I need this critical hit to kill you. Yeah, I'm going to Just a Scratch it. Just kidding, I'm not dead. And then I'm going to kill you with this choppa. It's just like the number of times that happens is just like, dang it, I hate that feeling. Yeah. It's the same feeling my opponents probably get when I play Casterkin. And they go, you rolled like 3 1s. No, I didn't. I rolled 1 1, and then I manipulate all these numbers. So it's just kind of one of those.
Make this one into a hit, and use 3, and then I'm gonna hit you again, buddy. Sorry, now I hit you twice with the melt again.
Exactly, and there's no worse feeling than being like, I thought you failed, but you really didn't, kind of moments. And
when you play when you play
Casterkin,
you just have to assume they're gonna hit with everything until they're out.
Yeah, and luckily, as you'll see as we look at the other parts later. They get a change, which I think is actually really healthy. Here's my toothbrush again, the one I use to clean models every now and then.
So, what was your biggest glow up faction? The faction that really started standing out the most after all the nerfs and tweaks and stuff they gave to the teams?
Ooh, I think it was Phobos. Phobos got deadly shots. Phobos got to do mission actions for free with Vanguard. And to me, that opened up a lot of like the team that should be doing a lot of tricks, like, and has gadgets and gear, and like it worked, and people found a lot of success with it. So that made me really happy. And then the second one would be Necrons. We have a lot of friends that play Necrons, and they want to play Necrons, but if the Necrons aren't good, then you're not going to play them. And then they got the glow up that they needed. Like, reanimation was good. Yeah. The slowdown orb being a 12-inch threat range was not nice. So I'm glad it's a 6-inch threat range now, because it is a monster to deal with even at 6 inches. But it was a good glow up. It's a good glow up. Those are my favorite teams that like got buffed. How about you?
For me, I'd probably say Highlander being number 1, because Highlander definitely was awful, and they buffed it so much they had to nerf it, and I was like, oh, thanks guys. They definitely dominated for a while, and they had their time in the sun.
Yep. Shout out to Shane.
But unfortunately, it took 2 years to get there, and now when they're in the balanced place, the new addition's coming. So who knows what's going to happen to the team? It's like,
guess we'll see.
It goes back to that classified, declassified thing, right? Like, yeah, they were released 2 years ago, but they've never been competitively viable. So until recently, so people really only got like 6 to 8 months with the team. Also, I really dislike the Necrons like aesthetic. Like, I like Necrons. I have a bunch of them. I have like 5,000.
Highlander circle.
Highlander circle, my guy. I want to play the Terminator. I want to run at people and chop people with fucking like living blades, kill some people. I don't want to have these little like sneaky mages and little robots running around being like, I'm gonna cast a spell on you. To me, I'm like, just like make Necrons the Terminator again. Can we make that like a slogan that we can put on like a silver hat?
I feel like
Necrons Terminators again.
I feel like they're the perfect opportunity to get something like, what are they called? Flayed ones, or finally bring back pariahs. One of the two.
Oh man, pariahs would be sick.
And I just want to bring up Hyro, the part of the dictionary to mean sacred or holy. So the sacred and holy circle of the Lord you have, right? So his retinue he brings.
I like Necrons. Okay, they're right next to me. They're the closest thing to me, okay?
For those who can't see it, that is a set of
chrome Necrons, right? Chrome. This is not going to be in focus whatsoever, but
not at all. But those are some. I've seen the chrome Necrons. They're pretty dope. I like them. I like the look of the chrome.
Yeah, they're cool. You got little flayed ones and little dusty
warriors.
But
yeah, like flayed ones are like perfect for getting new stuff. Because when was the last time they got stuff?
I want these guys in Kill Team. Scorepec Destroyers, dude.
Man, you want that so bad.
I do.
I want your dreams to come true, but I don't think it is.
They never will. Just like Tyranids will never come to Kill Team. We can all be sad together.
Yep.
All sad together.
I mean, I'd like Deathwatch to come out, but I don't think that's happening either. So like, we're not going to get the Deathwatch Tyranid box that we're thinking, guys. Sorry. Even if Space Marine 2 is out. That's not a spoiler. That's the first mission.
So, all right. So let's see here. I'm looking through our Discord, and what team got nerfed the hardest? There's another question.
Oh, nerfed the hardest? Oh man, Intercession.
Yeah, Intercession.
Yeah, Intercession. They got like destroyed off the face of the earth. No one plays them. Not even me.
They were
that's not true.
They were really good in their era and their time period. And then they released all these crazy like killy teams, and then they nerfed Intercession on top of that, and they just became like really bad.
Unplayable.
I would agree.
Like, yeah.
Like they are literally unplayable in any kind of a large tournament format.
And the only reason that people still play them is because their friends have 6 Space Marines and go, here you go. You want to play in a Kill Team tournament? This is what you do. And I'll always praise people who do it because I like Space Marines, but like whatever.
Yeah. What teams? What team is? Oops. What team do you believe has the most or is the most underrated kill team currently, Giacomo?
Underrated.
This is a good one. This is done by Brandon Bean. He has a good Patreon if you guys are interested in another kill team content creator.
Shout out to Mr. BB.
Yeah, he's coming down to AVTT this weekend.
We'll get to see him,
Mm-hmm.
Take a picture with him. Okay. This one, I think the most underrated team, and I truly believe this from the bottom of my heart, is Hearthkin Salvagers. I truly believe they're the most underrated team, because they have so many tools, so many tricks now, and with updates they have so many things to do. Are they going to win? Absolutely not. But I think they still have that mindset of like they're just always bad. But if you're playing in casual games, like a good Hearthkin Salvager player will take you out, like because they got the tools to do it.
I've lost to a Hearthkin Salvager player once.
So see, it's doable. Because like I can't think of any teams. I can't think of any teams that are like, oh, these guys are underrated. No, they're not. There's this really good rule they have. Like, of course they're good. They have this trick.
To me, I think Colts are the most underrated right now.
You still think they're underrated? You don't think they nerfed them to the ground?
I think that if you play the team really, really well, you can definitely win with the team.
I like this question because this one we really separated on answers.
Yeah, I think Colts are still super, super, super good, and every competitive player is like, "Nah, dude, you're insane." And to be honest, I don't think I am. I just think that a lot of people don't think the way I do. A lot of people aren't insane, and I might be. I think they're just really good.
You're probably right. Like Colts still can probably hit you hard, but like. Again, I think aesthetically, some people weren't really into it, which is why they abandoned them after they got like hit really hard.
Yeah, that was a team I wish they got rid of.
Yeah,
not even just minus one operative, just get rid of the team.
I don't even want to say that Inquisition is underrated because I've seen like some crazy Inquisition plays, especially when Vetguard was like super strong.
Yeah, in the U.S., I think that Inquisition is not nearly as good as it is in Europe.
Yeah, Europeans love the Inquisition.
Yeah, though,
which is cool.
I did lose at Nova to an Inquisition player. He beat the shit out of me.
Not to say we don't have some great ones here, like
That's true.
Shout out to Alex Papa for always playing them. And
what about teams that went through the biggest roller coaster of changes?
I mean, I think you'd have to say that would be where they go back and forth a lot.
I would say I have one very specific team.
I don't think I know one that goes like super back and forth. I was only gonna say Hyrotech Circle, but it got a complete redo. It wasn't really
they went like this. They were like like that. That's what happened with them.
Yeah, exactly.
They went up, down, and straight.
What do you think?
Pathfinders.
Oh shit, that was a good one. That's a good one. You're right.
Really high. They got nerfed, and then they were like, "Oh, you know what? Let's give them a buff. Let's give them back their +1 operative by not giving them +1 operative, but giving them +1 operative."
Right.
Cool. Okay, let's give them buffs on Into the Dark because they still aren't good. Okay. Oh wait, that was way too much because we gave them other buffs, and now we're gonna nerf them again. And guess what? They're probably still really good.
That's a good one. Yeah. Pathfinders that one is the only team that really did that.
Yeah.
No other team kind of did that. They either got really. Oh, could you argue Warp Coven got that?
Yes, you can.
Warp Coven. There was a time they were good. They went down, and then they were kind of good again.
Yeah. Warp Coven.
Okay, there's two teams.
They had a roller coaster.
I'm excited. I want to know what they're gonna do in the new one for them. I'm really excited. Even though I won't play them, but I'm excited for the people who will play them.
What team in the future, this is given to us by Affable Moose. What team in the future do you want to see be glow up, to be like have its time in the sun?
Ooh, let me be selfish first and do one that I want, which would be Kasserkin. I like elite points, but it's kind of a boring mechanic.
Okay.
Like it's like, all right, cool. Hey, you missed. No, I didn't. That's it. Right. Okay. What's so elite about that? Nothing, right? So like some of the previews I've seen, which again we'll go over, the direction they're going in gives me hope that they're gonna play better. And now realistically, I'm gonna say Farstalker Kin, man. because they deserve to get a moment to at least people go like, "Yo, Farstalkers, that team is like good as fuck, man." You know, like we need to have that moment at least once in their lifetime. At least once. How about you?
I hope that Felgor are really bad. I don't want their light. I don't want nothing. Them and Colts. I want to see wiped off the face of the earth. That's the opposite to the question. I want Space Marines to be good. They need to be good for the game, for the health of the community, for brand new players. They need to be good. I want to see them glow up. I want to see them be awesome. And I want to see them wreck some face, and I want to lose to some Space Marine players. You know, not chaos, okay? For the Emperor, baby. You know?
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
You can't really see it. I'm blocked by my microphone.
That's okay.
No, you know, I will second that. You know, it feels good to bring your 6 models and get to play with them. That's pretty dope.
So Rob has a couple questions. We can answer them to the best of our ability.
Ooh. The Hobby Highlander himself.
Yeah. He was on our latest battle report. We haven't done any battle reports the past 2 weeks because of, we've been really, really busy here. But we look to start again once 3rd edition's rules are made available so that we can, make new battle reports. It seems a little redundant to make battle reports so late on in the edition when we were made aware of so many rules.
I think it makes the most sense just to wait until 3rd, and we're pretty close now. GW's already said they're doing the pre-orders, so like we're not very far anymore.
Yeah. So here's Rob's questions, which we'll look through some of these previews now because we haven't talked about 3rd edition really at all yet.
No, none. We've been very good boys and not said anything
outside
about,
of
the stuff.
Outside of the classified, declassified stuff.
Of course.
Number 1, if you're a veteran player, which team has changed the most and which team are you worried about?
Changed them.
I don't know. We don't know the full rules, so we'll look at them. And number 2, if a brand new player is joining Kill Team, what teams do you think they should try? Okay, this is looking at the previews. So let's look at some of these previews.
Where do you want to start with? Inquisition?
First one.
Imperium?
Which is Kill Teams of the Imperium.
All right. And we got a new name for your team.
I know. Tell me about it.
They have a new name. You're Death Corps.
So excited.
But you know what? That kind of makes me think if they're no longer Veteran Guard and this is just Death Corps models, Death Corps of Krieg is the team. So then in the future, they'll be like Cadian teams or something,
The rumor is that Kriegs are coming out.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, at the beginning of next year. I think GW even put out the Codex picture with Imperial Guard with the Krieg image. Yeah.
Oh, for real? I'll look it up later because that's cool. Because I feel like I like Cadians, but if their planet explodes, I think there's a time for a new set of guardsmen to shine.
See, I hate the gas masks. I don't like the aesthetic.
I'm in agreement. I don't like the gas mask. I love the robes or the coats. I just don't like the gas masks.
They're
that
boring.
Much.
They all look the same. That's the reason why I like action heroes. It's why I like that kind of stuff. They kind of lack some
personality. You're right. Like you could argue Space Marines
one
like the
personality.
Same.
They are World War II death fighters in gas stuff, and to me, it's boring. They all look the same. I want to have special
a face or two here.
Special unique fact. That's why I don't model any of my guys as Krieg. But that's all right. I mean, a lot of people love Krieg, right? So they have guardsman orders, right? So the new leader looks like he's called the Watchmaster, which is different than a sergeant. Looks like orders are within 6 inches of him. Select one operative and then give it 6 inches. So that's interesting.
That feels right because you tell you tell everybody around you to go do this.
Was this? Yo, take aim. I call it shoot, shoot, shoot. Yo, take aim over there, guys, over there. Let's go, bro.
This is interesting because before you didn't have range for this, right? You just told that's all everyone got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So operatives cannot They cannot benefit from more than one guardsman order at once. They only benefit from the most recent order give during the battle of the turning point. And
Makes
then
sense.
take aim. Everything has the balance, so you get to reroll ones. I think.
Yeah,
I
save
think.
for the
If
mortar and
balance
the
is the
detonator.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting. How exciting! I love
Yep,
how many rules we're getting for these. This does not make me excited. Firstly, I would rather be Veteran Guard than Death Corps. Yeah, we'll move on.
We'll move on.
I won't complain too much. So we
No
have
worries.
comms beads allow the Death Corps to remain in contact during the battle. So this is one of their things, right? Whenever a friendly Death Corps Watchmaster or friendly Confidant issues a Guardsman order, you can use this rule. If you do so instead of each friendly Death Corps within 6 inches of it receiving that order, you can select one friendly Death Corps operative to receive the. Okay, so I guess instead of by itself, you can then point at somebody and give it to them. I guess I read the other one wrong. Yeah. Cool. And Siege Warfare, all the models have Saturate special weapon rule. That's cool.
Which is like cool. It's nice.
So we have Seek Light. So this is the new spotter. Look at him. He's so cool. They buffed him again. They took all his power away, and then now they made him good again.
Yep, I think that's important. I like the one thing they should have always done, not obscured. That's big. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's big. I wanted that forever for this spotter. Just to keep him in line with all the game. Everyone else was getting it, so they deserved it.
Yeah, the Mortar Barrage is a lot better. Heavy Dash. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's 4 attacks hitting on 4s. 3/5 damage. It used to do
silent.
I think it used to do 2/3. So.
Okay, that is good. Yeah,
and it's not, and it's definitely silent, which is nice. So that's cool. I'm glad he's better. We'll have to see about the rest of the team.
Yep.
Casterkin, you want to read out these guys? What do these guys do?
Absolutely. So these guys is the new rule. Skill at Arms. It's a strategic gambit. Select a skill at Arms for your friendly Casterkin operatives to have until the ready step of the next strategy phase. So, for example, they showed this one. Light 'em up. Whenever a friendly Casterkin operative is shooting a ready enemy operative, its ranged weapons have the Severe special rule, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like depending on what they're doing and the thing you choose, it's kind of like an order, except everybody gets it.
Have the Severe and all those weapon rules actually been released?
I can't quite remember. I think the only one I know that I just know because I either remembered reading it or something.
I guess if you know, you know, right?
You know, yeah.
If you know, you know.
So I like Light 'em up. I think it's a good one. Then you have Foregrip. What Foregrip does now, it gives you Accurate 1, which is nice. It's a reason to get it. Accurate 1 being you get a retained dice, I think, which is cool. And then you have Engage from Cover. Whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Casterkin operative that's in cover, you can reroll one of your defense dice. So there's tactics to survive to make them feel more elites.
These homies hit on 3s now, my guy.
They hit on 3s. So yeah, you no longer need those elite points to be like, oh yeah, I hit on 4s, but I have elite points. I could change it.
Looks like they innately made them into Caster Kings now.
They hit on 3s, and that's all they need to be. Mm-hmm. And I like this for the trooper. So they're showing off troopers, which I think is something they probably should have done more of for these teams, is show more troopers, because troopers are now like an actual type. So like this trooper, for example, has adaptive equipment. So one friendly Casterkin trooper can perform the smoke grenade action, or one friendly Casterkin trooper can perform the stun action. And these rules are from the universal equipment. Performing these actions don't count towards the action limits, which is nice.
Wow. So you can just throw 4 smoke grenades in a round? Like in a turn, like in total.
Yeah, it's still. I believe it still applies. Like if you take smoke grenades as the thing, like your whole team gets it. But this guy can always keep throwing them forever. But just that guy specifically.
Yeah, it's hard to know because we don't know all the rules, right?
Right. So I'm pretty sure it's what it is, and I think. Judging by this, I feel like Grenadiers are going to work the same way, but we'll see when that comes out. So, I like the change. Their armor's good. They have 8 wounds. They didn't really need to fix that part. It was fine. Mm-hmm. So I like it.
So let's move on to Exaction Squad, the S tier team. Always been S tier.
Always been S tier.
So what do these guys do now? Repress?
Yeah. Let's see. So I'll read this out real quick. Repress. Some weapons in this team rule have the repress weapon below. Whenever this operative is using this weapon, each of your blocks can be allocated to block 2 unresolved successes instead of 1. Nice. If this operative is retaliating, you resolve the first attack dice.
Sounds like a shield.
Oh, sounds like a shield.
Yeah.
Sounds like a shield move, right? Probably, right? That feels right. You have the strobing phosphor lumen. Whenever an enemy operative is shooting against, fighting against, or retaliating against a friendly exaction squad operative within 2 inches of it, your opponent cannot reroll their attack dice results of 1. Cool. I liked phosphor lumens. I think that was totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, I think this is an upgrade to the previous one, Long Arm of the Emperor's Law. Using the firefight ploy when a friendly exaction squad operative is performing the shoot action, and you select a weapon with the range X weapon rule, excluding frag or crack, until the end of that turn, add 3 inches to it. So you just you extend it, and we've seen that pistols are 8 inches. So in theory, you could have an 11-inch pistol, which is pretty nuts.
So what does this castigator do?
Let's see.
So he's a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
4 attacks hitting
strong.
on 5s, 2-2. 4 attacks hitting on 3s.
Did shotguns
4,
used to hit on 2?
6. I don't know. I know scouts did. I don't know.
Let me quickly check that out. Just
while you're
curious.
checking, I'll read them off. So he has engendered focus. You can ignore changes to this operative's stats. You cannot. I'm assuming you can ignore changes. Okay, so he can't be wounded. Whenever an attack, so he's zealous dedication. Whenever an attack dice would inflict damage of 3 or more on this operative, roll a 1d6, and on a 5, subtract 1 from that. So he has like some kind of some weird feel no pain on an 8 wound model. Congratulations, you're still gonna die.
Their feel no pain seems to be changing from just solidly like stopping all kinds of damage. I think.
Yeah.
And just reducing, which is fine. I'd rather it reduce than completely stop like all damage.
So, castigator's arrest. Whenever an enemy operative within its control range of this operative and no enemy operatives are within this operative's control range, that enemy operative cannot perform the fallback action.
Cool.
They really nerfed the arrests. Well, I guess they nerfed and buffed. I don't know why you'd want a Space Marine to stick in close combat with you, but I don't know.
Oh, you're right.
They buffed and they nerfed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say you can't. They used to do by wounds. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why. I wouldn't want an assault Space Marine still stuck in combat.
I get you do if you're a castigator. We have Imperial Navy breachers coming up next. They have breach and clear. Is it the same thing?
It looks like it. Once per turning point, when a friendly Imperial Navy breacher operative is activated, you can use this rule. If you do, select one other ready friendly Imperial Navy breacher operative visible to and within 3 inches of that operative. When the first friendly operative is expended, you can activate the other friendly operative before your opponent activates. So it's kind of like, I think they took GEA away from all the profiles, so this is kind of like their way of doing it for these guys.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even notice they didn't have GA on the profiles anymore.
Yep, no more GAs.
All right. They're most proficient with, combat stims. What is this now? You can't be injured?
Wow, you can ignore any changes to the move stat. Only the move stat of being injured.
Okay.
So you can still miss when you shoot, but you can still run. Okay.
Yeah, no more +1 to wounds.
That feels fine.
And, of course, they only show us the Endurant who has 10 wounds. So who knows how many wounds the team actually has. Does the team also have 10 or 8? Does the team have 8 like every other team other than Vetguard? Vetguard has 8, and Death Corps. They all have cancer, so they all have 7 wounds.
7.
I
wonder if that's going to be the trend for if you have and again, I don't know if the new Vetguard, whatever their name, I completely forgot their name right now. If they're going to keep a bunch of models, so maybe if you have this many models, you only get this much health.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That could be.
Maybe. That could be the design philosophy.
Mm-hmm. So we have Deckhand.
Not to say you can't break it, though.
What does Deckhand do? Too many words. Breach wall. They do some stuff. Disengage. Shield.
You can do a free hatch action, which is nice.
Shotgun is all right.
Oh, and you can do so during the charge or fallback action.
You can do what?
Yeah, that operative can perform a free operate hatch during its activation and can do so during the charge or fallback action. You cannot use this if the thing has been welded shut. See the hatch cutter. Cool.
Interesting.
Okay, see that feels right because I always like when I was thinking about Navy Breachers, it was one of those teams where I'd probably bring it thematically just to be like, we're playing an Into the Dark. I'm bringing the Breachers because this is like their home. You know, it's their home turf.
Interesting.
I still feel like
So
Navy Breachers should be able to cut their walls.
What does Breach Wall do? So it says whenever your opponent is selecting a valid target, they cannot select another friendly breacher operative whose base is touching this operative if this operative has an engage order and is intervening. This rule has no effect if it has more than one other friendly operative's base that is touching this What? Okay.
Oh, so you remember how like the Endurant used to be able to block? It's
Yeah.
that, but just worded a little different.
Interesting. I noticed that he's a 4-inch
same
move,
idea.
2 APL,
Yep.
2+ save, 10 wounds. This guy's a monster.
Wow, his shield is a brutal bash.
And he has block
But
2
doesn't do a lot of damage.
on resolved successes instead of 1. And this operative can perform the fallback action for 1 less AP. So he can literally just fall back and shoot somebody with a shotgun.
I think
That's
that's
insane.
because his melee sucks. It's 1-2 damage with brutal.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yes, yeah. You want to fall back every time and hit those 4 attacks with a shotgun.
So what do we think that they buffed or nerfed novitiates? I have not. I don't know anything about any of these teams.
So their acts of faith got changed, so now you get half the number of friendly novitiate operatives that haven't been incapacitated, rounding up. So if you still start with 10, I'm assuming you still start with 10, you're going to get 5 faith points to start with, which I'm assuming faith points are going to cost more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you start with 5 now.
So they have intervention. You can retain whenever it fails as a normal success instead of discarding it. I hope they got rid of the crit one. This is fine. This is the only one that we're made aware of so far. It seems relatively similar to their old stuff, just a different way of getting it. So
the auto chastisers changed a lot. This one you can deal damage to yourself equal to 1 to 3, but not enough to kill you. So if you're at 1 wound, you can't give yourself 1 and die. In order to perform a free faith action.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, equal to the. So if I do like 3 damage to myself, I can use a faith action of 3. You know.
Oh, okay, that's
so
cool.
This is cool.
Depending on what the acts of faith are, you know.
Exactly. Oh, excuse me.
Then we have.
You're gonna notice later in another team too.
Yeah. So we have.
I don't want to spoil it. So.
Okay, so we have Ardent Vengeance up next, which is whenever a friendly novitiate operative is shooting against, fighting against, or retaliating against expended enemy operative. That friendly operative's weapons have the punishing special rule. No idea what punishing is. Okay, we'll move on.
No idea what punishing is,
nope.
But no idea.
Literally I guess if you know, you know, but I have no idea. So, Novitiate Pronatus. Dude, what is up with these fucking
Pronatus.
names, bro?
I'm sure they're hella religious.
Swear.
They got hella religious.
Gun butt, auto pistol, Relic Seeker, 1 steering. This operative's activation, it can perform a pickup or place for 1 less AP. Cool. It could do that last time. Divine Acquisition. Once per turning point, when this operative performs a mission action that requires it to control an objective or mission marker, you gain a free number of faith points equal to the turning point number. That's pretty freaking good.
Yes, this is both worse and better.
Is it?
So I have a friend who plays Novitiates. He said like you got a different way. So in the older version, you'd get more points early, but now you get more points in the late game.
Well, you're gonna have less. You're gonna have less models, so it's good to keep this model alive.
Right. So you want to make sure your Pronatus stays alive, so you can score these faith points a little bit longer.
Pronatus sounds so.
I know
wrong.
Pronatus. I know. It's a religious word, but I'm not a religious man, so I couldn't tell you.
That's fair.
Then we have the agents.
We do.
Got agents. There's agents make a good point, which is someone pointed this out to me. They don't mention anything about agents needing to have a certain amount of numbers. I can't remember if that's.
What do you mean?
Like before they had 30 on their roster.
Yeah. Well, there's no more rosters, right?
Okay, so they did announce that. I wasn't sure if I
I
could
have no
remember that or
idea.
not.
I have no idea. I mean, there might be rosters.
Because judging by this, it doesn't seem like there is anymore.
It
They're not
doesn't. It
specifically
doesn't.
telling you any kind of like, you could just take everything. So if you own all the models, like, whatever, take whatever you want.
You
It
get to
doesn't matter.
craft however you want. At least that's how this is at least being shown to us here. So
And Sisters of Silence and Tempestive Scions are part of the team still, which is kind of cool. They're the only team that gets that right now.
thought I smelled.
Because I would have assumed Sisters of Silence. Oh no, I'm glad you're not burning. But yeah, Sisters of Silence and Tempestive Scions are still a thing, but only for Inquisition.
Hold on for us. You keep it going. I'll be right back.
All right, so let me continue on. So having Sisters of Silence and Tempestive Scions, again, they're part of it. It's cool. So now I kind of consider them as part of Inquisitorial agents. So let's look at the faction keyword. All of them get replaced with Inquisitorial agents. Cool. That was kind of what they did before, to make it easy. So they're all affected by abilities. You have Servo Skull. Once per turning point, one friendly Inquisitorial agent can perform a mission action for one less AP. Awesome. And Absolute Authority is still pretty much the same. The CP spent is refunded. They cannot use that ploy again during this turning point. This ploy cannot be used to stop the same ploy more than once per battle. Cool. Absolute Authority is still really strong.
That's good.
Still very strong. And then you have the Hexorcist shotgun. It looks like all the shotguns are hitting on threes for these teams. I was
3/3
cross-referencing them, which is good. You know, shotguns. It's fine. It's a shotgun. 7 wound model. And he has Chasten. Select one enemy operative that's a valid target for this operative and within 6 inches of it. Then select one additional rule, including a unique action that enemy operative has on its data card, a weapon rule. Until the end of that enemy operative's next activation, it's treated as not having that additional rule. So including a unique action, which is nice. So that's super
strong.
That's gonna be a fun guy.
That's super strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I hope
guy
more
could
people use it.
This guy could walk up to the castigator and be like, "Yo, I could fall back." You know, that's cool. That's exciting.
And like, you can't arrest me.
Yeah. So
and that was all the Imperiums.
So out of the Imperiums, what are we most excited for, and what are we most trepidatious? Trepidosed? I don't know. Which one are we looking forward to the most, and which one are we definitely not looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to the Casterkin because their special rule really changed. Like, it's not elite points, you know, that it's everyone else kind of keeps their same rules, but maybe a slightly different tweaked version of it. But Casterkin just gets a new rule entirely.
Yeah.
At the cost of an old rule, assuming that elite points. Imagine if you get both, you're just like, whatever, guys, it doesn't matter. We both hit well and do abilities. It doesn't matter anymore. This game is fake. We make up our rules now.
Out of these teams, which team do you think is going to be? Which one are you the most worried about?
Worried about in terms of how to deal with, or
I'm most excited to see Inquisition because I really want to see the rules for Sisters of Silence and for Tempest of Scions. And I'm most worried about Death Corps. That's the team I play. I think that they're going to have some changes that I might like and some changes I might not like. We'll have to see. I doubt that they're the same.
Yeah, I mean, like, being that you have to issue the order within 6 inches feels like your leader's even more important to kind of keep alive because he's making sure everyone's getting stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting.
I hope the Confidant gets to do the thing where he's like, oh, if my leader dies, I have a second leader, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that still stays because I feel like that might need to happen or else this is going to be a tough team to work with.
I mean, we're going to find out, right? So we have...
Sure are.
Was it Chaos next?
Yeah,
no, Eldar.
Chaos Kill Teams.
Eldar.
Oh, it is Eldar. I jumped the gun.
Yeah, this is what I'm excited about. I love me some Eldar. So
you do love yourself some elves.
We'll kind of speed through these. Corsairs look interesting. I still really dislike the Fell Arch's head. You know, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can always switch it up.
So
that's a nice thing because
their rifles are, if they don't charge or fall back or reposition, they have accurate ones, so they get to retain one shot.
Nice.
They are Eldari Raiders. They can perform a free action during their activation.
The free dash action, yep. So that was nice.
A lot of things going on in here. Sorry. We have they have Runes of Guidance, which I think allows you to swap two people. Nope. What
Until
is this?
at
If
3
you
inches to the distance requirements. Oh, okay. So it's for psychic actions, right?
okay, so they get to do that. That's interesting.
They get like an increased range for stuff because you know how like now like guardsmen for example have like the 6-inch range.
Was
So this
warp
is just adding to that.
was warp fold the thing that they could swap? Do you think they still have the thing where you could swap two people?
I mean, judging by the way they're changing a lot of these things, I don't think some of these old rules are going to stay, or else they would have stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw a few that are staying. Otherwise, they're just getting reworked entirely.
Some teams look like they are, especially when we get to some of the later teams. Opportunistic fighters. At the start of the firefight ploy, operatives perform the fallback action. It can move, but before it moves, it inflicts 2d3 damage on that operative for each Corsair operative within its What?
Because it used to be D3. Wow.
No, was that a thing? Did they used to have that too?
Yeah, but it was only D3
for each friendly Corsair Voidscar operative within its control range. Imagine like dogpiling the final
boss,
the final like Space Marine operative, and then being like, I'm gonna have this guy fall back, and I'm going to do 7 or 8 D3 damage to you.
Jesus. Thankfully, it's 2d3, so at most you could do is 6.
Before
but still,
it moves, inflict 2d3 damage on that operative for each friendly Corsair Voidscar operative within its control range. There is no maximum. For each.
Oh my god.
Each. So you can constantly do this thing where I'm going to charge this guy, now I'm going to fall back. I'm going to charge this guy, and then I'm going to fall back. That's crazy. That's crazy. It takes a little bit of setup, but that's fun. That's exciting. All right, so we have the Soul Weaver.
Oh my god, yeah.
We have the Soul Weaver, 7-inch move, which is big. It looks like an elf.
Oh yeah,
elves have 7-inch moves.
Nice. Elves move fast.
They have
speedy elves.
Sir, psychic ability gives somebody a +1 AP +1 APL stat, and they have a heal of 2d3, which is cool. Blades of Cain. I'm very excited about this. Hopefully, they're less complicated. I highly doubt that they are less complicated.
I doubt it. I'm looking at this aspect techniques right now.
I don't even want to read this. I don't even want to read it.
Yeah. There's techniques in there. They definitely still have them. It's like Giga Brain game, You have to have like the ability to retain like a dictionary's worth of information in your head. I mean, we technically do by playing Kill Team already, but like even more.
It kind of seems like, if you don't have all, it looks like the same. Like if you don't have more than one, I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing.
Right.
Here's one of their
it's on the Warhammer community.
Here's one of their Striking Scorpion aspect techniques for the Striking Scorpions. Use this aspect technique when a friendly Striking Scorpion operative is fighting. The first time you strike with a critical success during that sequence, until the end of that sequence, that operative's melee weapon has the shock weapon profile.
No, I don't know what that is, but cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it just sounds cool.
I have no idea.
I'm sure it's going to be good.
This is a scream that steals. You can resolve one of your successes before the normal order. Okay, so you get and if you do it, you have to do it to block. Interesting. Death of 1,000 Blades. Looks like a Torrent of 2. Looks like the same stuff from last time. This is different. Rune of Prophecy. Rune of Prophecy is saying that you get to roll a d3 and add or subtract d3 to your result. You can do it once per battle.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Dance of Death. Select 2 friendly Blades of Cain operatives visible to and within 6 inches of each other. Remove them both from the kill zone and set them back up in each other's previous locations. In other words, swap their positions. That's cool.
Wow.
That's
cool. That's not going to be a problem for anyone trying to reposition models and maybe slightly nudges them forward at all.
Nope. That's interesting.
If you do this, please have some kind of indicator of where the models were. Maybe you have like a rounded piece or something, and just that way.
Maybe a base stepper.
Maybe a base stepper. There you go. Hey, no more plugs.
Yeah, more plugs.
Again, nothing. I don't think your opponents are gonna cheat, but just like.
Yeah, it's
if you're worried about where positioning's going to be, this is probably the way to do it.
Striking Scorpion Exarch. 3-up save.
Nice.
For some reason, I doubt that the normal Striking Scorpions have 3-up saves, even though they should. Lore-wise, they are in heavy armor. They're not in normal aspect armor, but hey, it's not like I have 14,000 points of Eldar sitting right there.
Nope,
right
you
there.
don't.
Yep.
Down in the corner somewhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Somewhere there.
Mm-hmm. Even a Titan. So let's see here. So
You do, yeah.
So interesting. Manda Blasters. When you, at the start of the attack dice step, you inflict 2 damage on the enemy operative. And so these guys can easily kill 8 wound models. Humans are food to these guys.
Right, easy.
I guess you might be able to do... You might be able to 2-shot a Space Marine. Might be able to if you could do 8 damage and you get 2 crits and they don't block one.
I feel like... Yeah, you'd have to take what, like the claws and the
chain. Yeah, chain. And,
yeah.
That's interesting. It's interesting, but you would need 2 crits or 3 crits to guarantee a kill. So Exarch. This operative can perform 2 fight or 2 shoot actions. I mean, I think that he's relatively good, very similar. I don't see a lot of changes outside of the range 8 pistols,
which makes sense because the team is season 3, which is pretty close to the release.
To me,
so it makes sense that
I think it's dumb that they have biting blade with just rending. I have no idea what rending does, unless if it does what it used to.
Right. If it does the same thing, then
but why
cool.
wouldn't it be rending brutal? The thing is a giant 2-bladed chainsword.
It's not the claw.
2-handed chainsword. Yeah, and now there's a claw, which is like a power fist, so it has brutal and lethal fight. Get out of here, dude.
It's a mix of the 2 weapons.
The biting blade is by far the coolest.
Oh, he's getting the model. He's getting the model. For those who can't see, he's going to get the model. He's taking his time to get it, though. We're dying of suspense here.
I don't know where he is. My son might have moved him. But my current Striking Scorpion has a biting blade because it's by far the coolest weapon in the kit, in my opinion.
To be fair, I'll agree. The 2-handed chainsword is pretty dope.
It is cool. It's cool. So
not to say I don't like the claw, but
Hand of the Archon. It's way too much to read.
Power from Pain.
It's way too much to read.
They're getting the Power from Pain stuff. Cool. Power from Pain is awesome.
Yeah, cool.
The Duelist is the Duelist. Has again 7 inch movement, 8 wounds, still strong.
Yeah, 2 hitting on 2s. Tangle. Yeah, whenever this operative is fighting or retaliating with this weapon, each of your blocks can be allocated to block 2, 6. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty nice. Hitting on 2s too, but only 4 attacks. What is this? What is the Striking Scorpion? The Striking Scorpion hits on 3s?
For real? Oh, I mean, I guess it is it's all these crazy weapons, like damage-wise and stuff. Hey, I'm wondering if it has both rending and ceaseless, one
attacks.
of these rules has to be different,
Yeah, it has to be something.
Has to be something different.
So cool. Hand of the Archon probably look the same, probably better. I'm not going to sit here and read all of them. We have Mandrakes. Mandrakes have a lot of rules, a lot of stuff. They have nowhere to hide. Do their shooting work the same? Do we know if the shooting works the same?
According to the profile they're showing, it sure does. Still has Soul Strike.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And Soul Strike. Yep, Soul Strike is still the same. Each result of one is always
Bale Blast.
Critical success. Each result of is a normal.
Oh, is this no? What is the knife? Is the knifing their leader? Okay, let's read this. This I'm actually interested in to see if this changed at all, or if we were kind of right by guessing.
Yeah.
If we were right by guessing, like a lot of season 3 teams didn't really change. Whenever
brought him over.
Whenever your opponent would activate this enemy operative within 6 inches of this operative, you can roll a d6, and if the result is higher than that operative's APL stat, they cannot activate during this activation. There's no other enemy operatives. This rule has no effect. So I think it might be literally
the exact same thing.
Obliex.
What a surprise.
Oubliex, whenever this operative is readied, or if this operative incapacitates an enemy operative with its Husk Blade, the Oubliex becomes active. Wait, what? Where this op is readied. Okay, so yep. Whenever this, okay, on a 5-up. This is insane. When its Oubliex is active and an attack dice would inflict damage on this operative, you can roll D6 on a 5-up, ignore the damage inflicted from that dice. Dude, I hope, if they keep this rule, I hope that they do the same thing with just a scratch. You know? Like, this is...
Yeah, this one's pretty crazy, and it keeps coming back.
That model frustrates me. It actively frustrates me. It's so hard to kill with anything that has like an 8-inch. You know, it's ridiculous. In my
you have to kill this guy in range basically, because that you have to try to get rid of the Oubliex first, and then you have to try to like really make sure he dies.
Chaos kill
it's
teams.
It's a tough model.
We got the blooded. They have
Blooded still have blood tokens.
They
cool.
have gaze of the stuff. Bitter demise.
The symbols of bloody warship. They can gain one. They get 1 wound back. That's cool.
16 wounds, 5 saves, 6 wounds, 2 APL. Slow-witted
and shock.
He takes 2 APL to pick up stuff. When he charges, it does D3 damage.
That feels right. He would just be hitting shit. Like that's his thing,
You can ignore damage. APL to his moves.
Yeah, for Chem enhanced.
Interesting.
Brute.
I mean, he seems pretty good. 4 attacks, 5-6 damage, rending shock. Still don't know what those mean. It's very, very useful. Thanks, Games Workshop.
We'll get it. We'll get it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Felgor Ravagers.
Frenzy works the.
Frenzy is exactly the same.
No, not really. It says
really what?
It's only incapacitated as detailed overleaf. What? What does
Basically,
overleaf mean? Is that a Pokemon?
No, it's just referring. That's a good joke, but it's referring to the things below. This is how.
So down here
counts as down here.
Why would you use?
Yeah,
overleaf?
I know it's a weird formatting. Like it would be like incapacitated.
What does
overleaf
even mean?
Let's look it up. I'm curious now. Overleaf. We're getting a lesson here, guys.
Dude, if it's a Pokemon.
Used in books and magazines to say that something is on the other side of the page you are reading.
Well, it's not.
That is not on the other side. This is literally below it. It should just say as detailed below. But okay, I'm not writing these. Whatever.
So one thing is like you have to have it on engage. You cannot have a conceal. It's injured. It cannot perform the pickup marker or mission action for the purposes of determining its control of markers. Treat its APL of 1. This takes precedence all over stat changes. So that's good. Technically, it works the same as it used to, but a little bit different. But it cannot perform the pickup marker mission action, excluding operate hatch. So dead homies can open doors and close doors. Interesting.
Which is cool, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's a
good way to use them. Yeah.
A friendly Felgor operative has one of your following frenzy tokens. It is incapacitated when it's met the following. Its activation. The enemy operative is fighting, retaliating, strikes with a critical. I think this is the same. 2 different fight act hits, shooting, crit damage, battle ends. Resolve this before any victory conditions that resolve at the end of the battle. That's good. They didn't used to have that sentence.
Yes, and this is that was one of the big things is that so.
And it specifically says your opponent treats Felgor Ravager operatives as being incapacitated instead of when it would be incapacitated normally. When it gains one of your frenzy tokens for the purpose of scoring VP, kill op, faction rules, power of pain. Thank goodness.
Because before it was only like a handful.
Yeah. So this is good. Now it's saying pretty much for everything rather than
everyone gets it now for anything that involves incapacitating, which is what it should always be.
War paint is only the move stat.
Cool. It stops. Yeah. It's just like stims, right?
Yeah, and then violent temperament is the same. The gong looks like it's pretty much the same.
Improve the save stat by 1, ignoring the piercing rule.
Interesting.
Cool.
10 wounds. 10 wounds. Did they all used to have 10?
They used to have 10 wounds
okay.
before. So
sure.
did they have a 4-up save,
it's disgusting.
though? I'm wondering if they had.
Did
a
you
4-up save.
read Chaos Colts? Are they the same?
I have not read Chaos Cults because Chaos Cults, much like other people, I'm not aesthetically into them.
See,
So
I
would
have to
never play
digest some
them.
of this stuff slowly, and I know things have been coming out, but I'm also working a lot, so
We're going back and forth reading these guys.
what is this guy?
The
Okay, so this is different. So you can mutate a number of friendly Chaos Cult operatives based on the turning point as follows. Turning point 1 is 2. Turning point 2 is 2. Turning point 3 is 3. And turning point 4 is 4. So they just made the team better. They just 4 plus? What do you mean 4 plus? What do you mean 4 plus? There should not be.
Multiplayer games get more, competitive games probably don't.
We'll have to see. Does this mean
that's what I'm assuming?
Does this mean there's going to be more than 4 turning points?
Probably not for competitive. I think they nailed it down with 4. They're perfect with 4. But I could see it for other formats, like if you make up your own formats.
Yeah.
This is just like a net. Like if your friends are like, we're gonna play 8 rounds. Okay, cool. That's how I think of it as.
So whenever a friendly devotee operative incapacitates an enemy within its control range, it can mutate. Each operative cannot mutate more than once per turning point. Thank goodness.
Cool. Thank goodness.
When a friendly operative mutates, select one of the following. If it's a devotee operative, turn it into a mutant operative. If it's a mutant operative, turn it into a torment operative max once per turning point. So you can only get torment once per turning point. Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
That's good.
So you're
good.
only going to get 3 torments in the game. Wow. Nice.
That's really good.
This team will never be played. You cannot have more than 5.
Never be played to the capacity.
People can prove me wrong. You can never have more than 5 mutant operatives and 3 torment operatives at once. So the most you can ever have torment wise is 3 in a game, right? Unless if it goes to 5 rounds, 6 rounds, whatever. Swap the miniatures, ensuring the center of the new base is as close as possible as to where it was. The new operative loses a number of wounds equal to the lost wounds preceding its operative's type. What? The new operative type loses a number of wounds equal to the lost wounds of its preceding operative type.
So if a cult member lost 4, turns into a mutant, the mutant loses 4 wounds.
Dude, how did Kill Team get more wordy?
So like if I'm assuming, let's see, do they show anything? They don't. They show the Blessed Blade. Cool. So if the cult guy has 7 wounds, 4 he has 3, and the mutant, let's say, has 10 wounds, you subtract 4 from 10 and you get 6 wounds. But then you also add wounds when you mutate too, right? It can gain D3 plus 1.
No idea.
This is going to be an interesting one for players.
No idea. I think we're going to have to get more info on this team to even digest.
Yeah, they're going to be a little mathy. Not terribly crunchy, but
Shitness gives plus 1 to its save, so it goes from do they have a 6-up save? A 5-up save.
They don't
this
show
is the Blessed Blade. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I could pull up the old ones and just kind of see.
Well, I don't think we should repair. I don't.
Right. The closest we can do is just kind of look at it and pray that it's similar. And I'm just assuming it's probably going to have like a 4-up armor, maybe. Did it have a 4-up before? I can't remember. Whatever it had before.
Yeah, I don't know. So Blessed Blade, cut them down, etude purposes within 6. So they have Super GA 2.
Right, they did that before.
Within 6, though, now. I don't know if it was like that before within 6.
I feel like it was. But regardless, yeah, so they can do it 6 now. 5-up save,
Whenever
8 wounds,
an enemy operative performs a fallback within control range of this operative, you can use this rule. If you do so, inflict D3 plus 1 damage on that enemy operative before it moves. If that enemy operative is within control range of these 2 operatives, inflict 2d3 plus 2 instead. What is cut them down? This is a Blessed Blade thing. Whenever an enemy operative performs the fallback action, while within control range of this thing, you can do D3 plus 1. So they're just making sure that a lot of teams can't fall back from stuff. If
They
he's
don't
in
want you to fall
control,
back. That's kind of the trick.
yeah, if he's in control range of both of the operatives, then you're going to do 2d3 plus 2. So minimum 4, maximum 8. Holy crap.
Yeah, if you're within both. It makes it really brutal to like you could just
4
do a tune in purpose to swarm somebody and force them to run away from you, and you could kill them.
Yeah,
which is pretty strong.
4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4/6 damage, lethal 5. So it would be great as an elf dude, right? You could like charge like 6 elves into this guy, right? And then you could like fall back with a dude, and you could like
the Corsairs?
you could roll like 8 damage, kill that guy, right? And then you can be like, well, I'm gonna roll like 10d3, and I'm gonna kill your guy right back. That'd be fun.
I think like that's gonna be an interesting one, right? Like how the damage will be done. I'm looking forward to seeing that conundrum.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we have Xenos and we have Space Marines and Heretics, right?
Yep.
So Xenos, we have Commandos.
Orcs.
Yeah, I like this paint job. It's nice. The green is very, very attractive.
Classic green.
They have Harpoon. Who cares? It has...
The Harpoon is better now because before it was only on one guy. Now everybody, save for the Grot and Squig, can use it.
And then
but only once per turn.
Then they show a comms boy who does what? The same exact thing?
I think they're bringing it in line with whatever the new edition is, and of course the pistol range is now 8 inches.
Whoa! Select one other friendly, excluding the command squig. Okay, excluding the bomb squig. Yeah. Okay, I thought that you could only give the bomb squig +1. That would
no. Could you imagine? That'd be nuts. Now Farstalkers, this is a change here.
The Farstalkers.
This is some changes. Yeah, they got some changes.
I'm leaning down in my chair, so I'm gonna. All right. Farstalkers. What do we do? What are we doing here?
They're gonna hopefully see their time in the sun.
They have a pistolier. Why are all these articles way shorter than like the? It's like the dude who is writing these articles got like really lazy. Some of the previous articles were super long. Look at Commandos. Like, here's some Commandos. Very short descriptions. Here's some Farstalker. Very short description. Don't get me wrong.
I think it's because
I enjoy them shorter.
The simplicity. I think it's just because Commandos, for example, you charge from Gwynseal. Not much more to describe, So it's just like that's pretty. I mean,
there's nothing jumping out at me with the crew. What you said?
So
what is up?
It's a special ability. In the ready step of each strategy phase, you can change the order of up to 3 friendly Farstalker kinband operatives that are not within control range of enemy operatives. And then whenever it's your turn to counteract, you can change the order of one of your friendly Farstalker kinband operatives that's not within control range of enemy operatives. This still counts as your counteracting, so activation alternates back to your opponent afterwards, but doesn't count as that friendly operative's counteraction for this turning point.
Giacomo, that's
is
garbage.
Pretty nuts.
This is garbage.
To go into conceal, like, you run up, Giacomo, shoot somebody, and engage.
By the time that you're going to counteract most other teams, maybe not every team.
Ignore that one. We don't really care about that rule, right? Because you have a lot of bodies, so you're probably not doing that. It's the strategy phase where you can change 3 operatives' orders. That's big. So you could be like really aggressive in the first turn at the end of the turn, and then be like, I know I'm going to transform them into conceal, so I won't be shot.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty useful. The counteract one is kind of it's cool if you pull it off, but the main one is that one, because the previous one where they were like rogue was kind of weird, and it was just whatever. So this one gives them like an option, or if you're going to get the first turn, you're fairly certain, you can be like, I'm going to switch them to engage and get them ready now or something. Really, you want to use this for defense. Defensive plays are nice.
They can fall back for 1. They have some stun rules. This guy can shoot twice, probably.
And Toxin Shot can... is the Toxin Shot's the same? More or less. But now everybody can use it. Because before it was limited. So it was just once. So now at least,
Moving on to Pathfinders. Are they busted? G?
Marker Light's got a little easier. You have to do the Marker Light action, which not everyone has. Oh, and operatives who do like a move type action, like dash, charge, fall back, or reposition, remove a Marker Light off of them.
Nice.
That's a big one. So you can't just like stack and be like, I'm going to get it regardless. And there's only 4 things for Marker Lights: Saturate, Balanced, Target, Cannot be Obscured, and then Seek Light. In that order, 1, 2, 3, 4.
At least they can't seek heavy. That's nice.
Yeah,
they have a photon grenade.
It's cool. It's a little easier to work now. It just mostly fixed the wording.
I'm mostly interested at what their pulse carbines can do. Hitting on threes. Okay, this is their leader, right?
This is their leader. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait, what the hell? And then I realized it was the leader.
4 or 5 damage.
I'm okay with 8 wounds. I'm okay with this.
Monka add 1 inch to the move stat of friendly Pathfinder operatives. Okay, once per battle. This is so much better than getting a free dash.
Oh my god, so much better. Like in terms of like feels bad for your opponents too.
Why didn't they just do this in the beginning last time? K-On, friendly operatives can perform the free marker light action during their activation if they have the conceal order. That's actually pretty good.
That is very good because normally marker light's 1 AP, so like it's just
you
can move and start doing things.
Yeah, you could marker light with a bunch of people and then try and shoot somebody if they're behind light cover.
Right. Start getting them for turn 2. Like it's really a prep for turn 2 team.
Hopefully the team's better. We don't know. I don't know anything else about them. Hopefully they're not busted.
I mean, the pulse carbine's still strong. 4 or 5 damage is still bonkers.
Yeah. So if higher tech circle, that's there's the text. There it is. Here's the long one on the article.
See, they gave it to you somewhere.
To be honest, it's so much words. I do not want to read it. Do you know what this? I
never want to read it. They reanimate, and it's probably very similar. D3 plus wounds.
We're gonna imagine it's the exact same. Cool.
It's probably very similar.
You guys can enlighten us in the comments or in the Discord. We're gonna skip higher tech. We're gonna look at the operative though. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
2 APL, 5-inch move. Did they always have a 5-inch move?
I don't think so. I think they had a 4-inch move before.
Okay, well that's a buff. 3+ save, 10 wounds. This is the sniper, so he's 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, 4/3 damage. Wow, devastating 2, heavy dash only, piercing 1, and severe. Interesting.
See, this is already nicer, because before it was like the weapon that just couldn't do anything. What was that weapon type called?
Phalicide?
No, it was still heavy. Okay, I thought it wasn't for some reason.
Whenever this operative ends the shoot action, the target gains 1 of your death-marked tokens if it wasn't incapacitated. Whenever a friendly higher-tech circle death mark operative is shooting an enemy operative that has 1 of your death-marked tokens, that friendly operative's ranged weapons have the seek weapon special rule. Interesting. That's cool.
Nice. That's
so
nice.
So you might want to take multiple death marks now, which is cool.
You're right, because you can have one that just gives it a death mark.
And for 1 APL, whenever it's shooting, an operative cannot be obscured.
Wow, that's pretty good.
You're not going to move them anyways. What are you going to dash and shoot?
Not really. I mean, probably not. I think your strategy is a good one. Take a few death marks, 1 to put the token on, 1 to kill them.
So we have Brood Brothers next. Crossfire.
I think that's mostly
looks the same.
Yep.
Insidious.
Talisman.
A dash action. Use this in the firefight play because this was this a problem? No, I think it was pervasive. That was the problem. That the problem is that this team is okay. So the Icon Ward, this is the one they tease us about, the better version of all Vetguard players or Vetguard stuff. So he has a large knife, 3/5 damage, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s. Cult Icon. During determining control of an objective marker within 6 inches of this operative, treat the APL stat of friendly Brood Brother operatives that contest it as having 1 higher. If at least 1 friendly Brood Brother operative contest that marker. Okay. And then
they just count it. It's not a change.
Yeah, once per turning point. And Brood by Devotion. This is an interesting thing I want to see if they changed. Once per turning point, when a ready friendly Brood Brother operative is incapacitated within 6 inches of this operative, you can use this rule. Okay, cool. Do you have to have visibility? Nope. No visibility. Just within 6. Yeah. If you do, before that operative is removed from the kill zone, it can perform 1 free action, excluding the fight and mind control. This is different.
This is different.
Is it? And you can change its order to do so. It's then incapacitated as normal, so you give them friendly for an activation. You cannot use this rule as and the medic ability. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that they clarified that. It's not a question that we're going to have to ask later on.
Right.
So we have Hearthkin Salvagers coming up next.
Hooray. Grudge tokens. Each grudge token the enemy operative has can obtain one normal as a critical success.
So they haven't changed.
Grudge tokens aren't removed when you do this.
What?
Yeah, aren't removed when you do this now. So so they stay. So you keep that grudge.
Just make a toxic mechanic even more toxic. Cool.
Even harder, That's cool. Excavation tools. Operatives can perform the pickup marker for one.
Gee, they can't figure out how to buff the team, so they're like, "Hey, let's just make grudge tokens better." All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Games Workshop.
Grudge tokens have that similar feel, like elite points, where it's just like, well, I just get it kind of thing if I had it.
Yeah.
At least you have to earn grudge tokens by having dudes die, so there's that.
That's true.
There is that, at least, as a trade-off. The Cognitar.
So
Cognitar.
Excavation tools, so you can make whatever pickup marker is a little easier to do.
Yep, for one less APL, which is cool, I guess.
Toil Earns. Select one objective marker or one of your mission markers. Whenever an enemy operative is within 3 inches of that marker, treat it as having one additional grudge token.
Nice.
I have
nice.
like 10 grudge tokens on me, and I'm still alive. Take that.
And you're getting one additional one for being on the objective.
Yep. So we have. Is this the AI guy?
This is the little robots. Yeah.
So 5-inch move. That's good. Save 3 up. Wounds 8. Some bolter. 4 attacks hitting on 4s. Accurate 1. Ion blaster. Piercing crits.
This is what's crazy. So
homie has 2 guns.
So like when you pick him out, you pick the loadout on the rifle, whether you want to give him the one or the other, like they did before. I'm assuming. Well, also because the modeling, you can only pick one gun.
That would make
which
sense.
is nice. So you could either get like piercing, which I'm assuming probably works the same way that piercing does because it's this piercing crits, and accurate 1. So like you pick. Do you want to like have better chances of guaranteeing hits, or do you want to break through armor? So that's really nice. So if you're going up against elites,
I think accurate's going to be really important.
In general, yeah, especially because obscuring changes. So this way you're guaranteeing more successful hits. So there's that.
And we go to Jaegers, the cowboys of the universe. Resourceful looks to be pretty similar, relatively similar. This is
big.
This is the crazy one. This is I did read these guys.
Yeah.
Each friendly Hearthkin Jaeger. So this is Dauntless Explorers. It's a strategic gambit. In the first turning point, each friendly Hearthkin Jaeger operative wholly within your drop zone can immediately perform a free reposition action. Each that does so must end wholly within 4 inches of your drop zone. Now, here's the crazy thing. That's kind of crazy. All of your operatives?
Yeah. I think it was before. It was only 3 too, right?
Yeah, it was 3.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's good.
I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. It's crazy. It's just
someone
crazy.
will figure out how to break this.
I'm sure they will. This guy looks to be like a Giga Chad, like he used to be. I'm pretty sure that people need to write on his base that he's a Giga Chad, the Jaeger Bombast.
His weapon is 9 inches. He's a better pistol.
Yeah, he's a better pistol by 1 inch. Congratulations.
Yep.
He's not compensating for anything.
He used to be the 8-inch guy.
Yeah, now he's a 9-inch guy.
Nice.
Ceaseless, lethal 5s. Cool. Cool beans. Finally, we'll move on and we'll wrap up the podcast with Space Marines and
the best stuff. The
Heretics.
Astartes.
So Space Marines
Angels
are
of
Angels
Death.
of Death. How exciting. Chapter
Hell
Tactics.
Yes.
We have 4, right? Who knows if there's more? Who knows? I was going to say if there's less, but I mean, obviously there's 4. Aggressive. They get the rending, resolute, You get can't change the APL stealthy. Whenever an operative is shooting this operative, if you can retain any cover saves, you will retain 1 additional cover save.
Or you can retain 1 cover save as a critical success. This isn't cumulative with improved cover saves from vantage terrain. That's good. That's pretty good.
Just make him hard.
And then Hardy is 5 pluses are critical successes on your saves. Awesome.
I wonder if that's gonna cause problems with the new. That could be a really big thing against, depending on how mandrakes are worded, because in the last edition, this didn't affect the mandrake soul strike ability because they specifically called out the 5-up being a save, but now this is saying defense dice results of a 5-up are critical successes. So that means that currently, if we're still going off of old rules, because I have no idea what Soul Strike is or how it's going to work. Maybe it does nothing. Maybe it's just a normal shot. You could technically save on a 1 and a 6 or 1 and a 5 if that's the case.
Right. I mean, they did show Soul Strike earlier on the elf teams.
Did they? They showed, but they didn't show what Soul Strike was.
Yeah, the same thing as it was before.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, let me double check it. I'll pull it up. I have it right here.
Pull it up, my guy.
Yep. Successful defense dice are determined differently. Each result that's equal to or less than the target APL stat is a success and is retained. Each result that is a target APL stat is a fail and is discarded. Each result. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think this is where this rule will be ahead. Each result that's higher than the target's APL stat, because Soul Strike would probably, because it's the rule that's getting hit. I'm assuming that's the case. If not, technically,
does it say defense dice? Do they roll defense dice? Can you read it again?
Yeah. Successful defense dice are determined differently. So each result that's equal to or less than the target APL stat is a success. And
probably going to need to get an FAQ because Hardy here just says defense dice results of 5-up are critical successes.
Right, and
so
here
which
it says
one?
anything...
Which one takes precedence?
Right, is my question, because otherwise this is
interesting.
The Soul Strike says each result is higher. Otherwise, Space Marines would only fail on a 4-up if you took Hardy.
Hell yeah,
which would be kind of nuts.
Hell yeah,
having the weirdest 2-up armor save ever.
I don't know why you would take it at that point. So Purity Seals.
This one's cool.
This is great.
It's nice. This is a good change.
Once per turning point, when friendly Angels of Death operative is shooting or fighting or retaliating, if you roll 2 or more fails, you can discard one of them and retain the other as a normal success. See, Space Marines are so easy to read. We don't have to read like 2 paragraphs to figure out what Frenzy does. Like this is just like, yo, you fail twice, you hit. Be like, thanks.
At least one. There you go. Yeah. Beautiful. Combat Doctrine. This one I loved.
Same as the
2 are the same,
right? Oh.
Except what? Assault. Assault used to be when you charged. Now it's just when you're fighting or retaliating.
Oh, interesting.
That's big, because I always hated taking Assault, because it's like, well, I'm already in combat. This is useless.
And now we have Space Marine Captain. I wonder if that means we're getting Justian back.
It does. They actually mentioned that up here. The Intercession Squad and Strike Force Justian. So commanders can recreate their old squad or experiment with fresh combinations.
Where's this at?
The paragraph right below the picture.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. So we are getting Justian back.
Now it's official. Yeah,
but now
Justian
it's not Strike. Well, there's no more Strike Force Justian because Justian is just a captain. So now
he's just a captain.
Yeah.
And now it's just
Captain, my
Marines.
captain. Captain, my captain.
Angels of Death. He looks pretty cool. He's got a plasma pistol.
Hitting on 3s
which is worse than it was before. Yeah, this was kind of weird. I would have thought a captain would at least hit on a 2 with a pistol. Something.
Hitting on 3s, 3/5 damage, piercing 1. Plasma pistol supercharge is 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4/5 damage. Interesting.
Hot, lethal, piercing 1.
Okay, and then he has a
brutal
power fist that hits on 3s. That's why you're taking. This is why you're taking the guy. This is why
that's a lot of 5 attacks too. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I do like his heroic leader.
Yep. can use a firefight ploy for 0 CP if this is specified. If this is the specified Angels of Death operative, so like if it's targeting him, he can use it for free
Oh,
on
okay.
himself. Yeah,
Cool.
it's always nice. Or the adjust Doctrine firefight ploy for 0 CP, which whatever that is.
And Iron Halo
we'll find
is
that out.
once per battle, inflict normal damage on this operative. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so if it would be happening, so like if you got a hit with, let's say, 1 critical and all normals, you can ignore all those normal hits. That's pretty good, but it's only once per game, and you only need it once to survive. It's only 4 turning points.
Phobos, it looks like Omni Scrambler's the same.
Yep, Omni Scrambler's the same, but the Vox Breaker now can help you do it too. So before you did have line of sight, right? Visible. The Vox Breaker is just as long as you're within 6 inches of me, I can also trigger it.
Oh, cool.
So that makes the Vox Breaker better, which I like, and you'll see it as we get lower too.
But G,
Yeah.
7.
7-inch movement. Yep, that's a big one.
And 12 wounds.
And
when we used to, I didn't even look at this guy. 15 wounds. 6.
I'm judging. They're probably going to stay the same.
Yeah,
judging
I would
by
assume.
that, right?
So 12 wounds, saves up 3 up, 3
Yep,
APL,
same,
and
moves faster.
7-inch move. Ooh, that's exciting. That makes me excited.
Don't forget right above you, Patient Ambush. Use this firefight ploy when it's your turn to activate a friendly operative. You can skip the activation.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they get to just skip.
Nice.
And special issue ammunition, giving you piercing 1, which is cool.
I like that. Scout squads,
Yep.
forward scouting. They have a redeploy. They can change the setup 1/3 of your operatives, rounding up. That's crazy.
Wow. Nice.
Reposition. Perform a free reposition action with 1 friendly operative that is wholly within your drop zone. Must be within 3. And then diversion. Once per battle, strategic gambit. Select 1 enemy operative within 6 inches of a kill zone edge. Until the end of that operative's next activation, subtract 1 from its APL. Okay, that's fair.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Camel Cloak can retain an additional 1. And Sniper Rifle guy hitting on 4 mobile. So they have a mobile version. Is this a T-Mobile?
It's just a bolter.
4 attacks, hitting on
T-Mobile.
3s, 3/4 damage. Sniper Rifle hitting on 2s, 3/3 damage. Devastating 3, heavy, and silent.
Nice.
So you can spend an AP
Nice,
force until the start of the activation. You can ignore obscuring.
Now, when his heavy doesn't have, like, because with the other heavies we were seeing, which is like heavy dash only, I'm going to assume he can't move with his weapon.
I have no idea.
If he does stationary.
I'm gonna assume
because
that
he has
too.
mobile and stationary.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Based on just his weapons.
Yeah, you're right.
That's cool.
I would assume heavy just means you can't move.
Right, worth it.
We
Worth
have-
it if it means he doesn't have to come out of conceal.
We have legionaries, which are exciting. We have this operative's melee weapon has a severe special rule / plus 1 inch to the move stat, which is actually pretty good. Right. Legionary Bellfire. So he has. I like how spells are just attacks now. Fire Blast, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3/4 damage. Psychic Blast 2, devastating 1, saturate. Okay,
Nice.
Life Siphon is 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3/3 damage. Saturate, Life Siphon, Siphon Life. Whenever this ability is using this weapon at the start of the resolve attack dice step, select 1 friendly legionary operative visible to him with 6. For each attack dice you resolve during that attack that inflicts damage, that friendly operative regains 1 lost wound or D3 if it was a critical success. That's cool.
Whoa! So that felt dagger being psychic and melee being like, all right, I hit you, I did some damage, I'm gonna gain some life back. You hit me, I take a little bit of damage. I hit you, I gain some life again. So like I can kind of like survive a little bit longer in combat. Oh, and they're 14 wounds.
Oh, you're right. 14 wounds, not 7-inch moves though.
That's
thank
huge.
goodness.
They're Space Marines. One thing to note with the
Ultimately better
with
I
the
think,
marks. Yes, the marks. Everyone can take their own mark, excluding the Balefire. He cannot have Khorne. So you can have like 2 Slanesh, 2 Nurgle, 1 Khorne, 1 Tzeentch if you wanted, or undivided, right? And it depending, like if they show, for example, the Khorne, you get Blood for the Blood God, right? Whenever a friendly legionary operative, excluding Khorne, is fighting, the first time you strike during that sequence, inflict 1 damage, right? So this is for normal people. Add 1 to both damage stats of friendly legionary Khorne operatives' melee weapons. So it's just better for Khorne. They just get 1 extra damage all the time.
I like
which
that.
which is pretty big. Yeah. So
the
this
Fell
is
Dagger could
so there's
do,
reasons.
could do 4 or 5 damage.
Yeah. If you make the Balefire. Oh no, Balefire cannot be Khorne specifically because Khorne doesn't fuck with Psychers.
You're right.
Yeah, they don't fuck with Psychers.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's very good. Legionaries already weren't bad. I think they were one of the team I would probably play often, but like one of my favorites in terms of balancing. Like they were like a really, really, really tuned in team. So this just makes them better.
So we have Nemesis Claw, and I think this is the last one.
This is the last one. A Midnight Clad. It's the same, just
it's
obscuring
more than 6
changed.
inches from enemy operatives. It's visible to.
Yep, same as before. And has a heavy terrain within its control range, or any part of its base is underneath it. So you can still do the I'm in front of heavy and I'm further than 6 inches from you, but before where you couldn't shoot, at least now you can just take worse shots at them. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be a lot tankier, right? And
Yeah,
then we
it gives them the
Grizzly Trophy. And
same as before.
Ventriloquar. 14 wounds. Oh, they did it.
Yep, they got the buff too.
They did it.
And they needed it, honestly. But if you're going to be an elite, you got to have... Not to say that 12 you can't do it, because Phobos move faster, so that's their gimmick. And they can pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So... I mean, we don't even get to see what Prescience does for these guys, so who knows? Prescience could be reworked, but based on the other stuff we've seen...
kept a lot of the
yeah, it sounds like they're just going to bring it over, so that's cool. Yeah,
right.
It's cool.
Well, we got through it, Giacomo. I am exhausted.
It's exhausted.
I lost steam halfway through that, everyone. If you guys made it through with us.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
We're struggling.
In
Dakota's
terms of
struggling.
easiest teams, I think you still play Space Marines.
Bro, I'm so down on the Space Marine train, dude. Screw
I think you still play Space Marines.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some Squad Games Marines. I'm going to do some Reboot Gilliman boys. I'm going to do some Black Templar boys,
Have different versions of the same team.
Yeah, and then I really want to make a Iandan. I really want to paint up an Iandan Corsairs team.
Nice.
Yeah. Is there anything that you really want to hobby on right now, G?
Phobos just seems fun because of these new changes. It makes me excited for them. I already have all the parts for Angels of Death, so I'll probably keep playing them for a while. I would like to separate them from my 40k stuff though, because I use a lot of it from my 40k army. But I'd like to have them like individually on their own game system. Maybe repaint them. I'm not sure what faction. If Deathwatch never gets anything, I'll do Deathwatch. But
that's fair. That's fair. Well, is there any shout outs you want to do before I actually just start? If people that have been watching this, they just see me getting lower and lower and lower and lower in my chair.
And keep going down.
And I've adjusted my camera like 5 times.
let's quickly answer Rob's question. So
oh shit.
So for the brand new players, I would still say Angels of Death is probably the team, or secondary. You could probably do like Commandos or Chaos Marines, right? Legionary. I think those are some good starting points, easy to pick up and play, and generally elites because it's 6 models, so it's also not like a crazy hobby investment. You can generally do it pretty easy. And then if you're a veteran player, which team has changed the most, and you're worried about. The ones that seem to change the most seem to be the Farstalkers. That's a big change, like entirely, and Kasserkin because they got essentially reworked in terms of stuff. I'm sure there's more. I just couldn't remember it since there's just so many. But those two got new.
The Jaegers getting like
overalls.
Everyone can jump out their deployment zone.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah.
Colts seem relatively fundamentally changed on a lot as well.
Yeah, they're generally, I think, maybe a little more tamed, but not to say they're not going to be strong because we don't know what the profiles for these guys are yet.
Yeah.
yeah, this is this time for them, and that's what I'm looking forward to for Mr. Rob
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
looking forward to next week when we can we're gonna talk some more Kill Team. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be
always,
exciting.
man.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a long road. It's been a long road to say the least.
it's on a long road and a long episode this week. So shout outs, I'll do them real quick just for my own, then you can go take it. You can join us on Discord if you want to join the conversation and you want to tell us what you think is the easiest teams to start playing now that some of the few rules have been revealed, or anything regarding these new rules. What you think is going to be good, what's going to be bad, what could be better, or what you hope to see. You can watch us on YouTube. We do reports. We'll be doing the more as third edition comes out. We have the Hobby Highlander series, where you can see what we test out for paints and other hobby supplies. We'll have MetaWatch soonish, so you can get the last few things here of second edition before, the last two rods, 1999. Let's get into the 2000s, baby. You can find me on Instagram at wargaming_studios. I'll be working on those Nemesis claws, finishing them up. You got to get the backpacks done. And you can find us, Squad Games, on Instagram at squad_games_entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And join us there for updates and stuff. And we look forward to seeing you at AVTT if you're going. How about you, Dakota? What do you got?
Yeah, make sure you're coming out to LVO. It's going to be a fun time. Play some Kill Team. We're going to try and make it the best and most miraculously fun event that we can. It is our largest event. I also want to shout out Hobby Highlander again. If you guys haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life? Just put it on while you're painting. Figure out what white is actually the best white. Like, that is actually super, super useful to know. Trust me. Like, what is the best silver? Maybe you know already. Maybe you don't. So we're working on blue right now. And the Hobby Highlander 6 versus Warpaint's Fanatic. So those are our next two upcoming episodes. So stay tuned. We're going to try to get them out a little bit more regular. But we were quite busy We're quite busy. So
these last few weeks.
Yeah, looking forward to a little bit of sleep. But I can't sleep with the lasers running because I get paranoid that they're going to catch on fire. So I mean, dude, one of the nights, I literally took out oh man, I think I was driving down to work the next day. So I had to wake up at 4 a.m. It was like 10. I was like, yo, babe, I got to sleep in the office because I'm paranoid. I got to wake up and have these things keep running. And I went to sleep in here on an air mattress. Woke up a couple times, changed them, then woke up at 3 hours late at 7. And I was like, well, that goes late to work. Good thing my boss doesn't care.
As long as you get your job done, it doesn't matter,
I have a new Jimmy Kelly. I have a new name for him. He named himself. And if everyone's waited to the very end of here, you guys are going to love this. Gimme Jimmy.
Gimme Jimmy.
Gimme Jimmy. If it's purple, he wants it. Big fan.
Gimme Jimmy.
Gimme Jimmy.
It's purple.
Jimmy's going to want it. Hide your purple.
He consumes purple,
Yeah. Shout out to Jimmy Kelly. I think he's a good dude. I think he's building a great scene down in San Diego. A lot of fun stuff and cool stuff happening in San Diego. If you guys are around that area, I know he's going to be opening up his shop to regular Kill Team nights down there to teach new people.
Nice.
I'm going to be storing some of my terrain down there so that people can go and play on some of my stuff. So, looking forward to that. And SoCal Open is right around the corner.
That
is the last West Coast Golden Ticket event. No matter what Cascadia says, theirs is 2 weeks before the SoCal Open. SoCal Open is the final West Coast Golden Ticket event. If you can't get it at AVTT, if you can't get it at Killscream, come on down to SoCal Open. Join us in Atlanta, where we're going to have a fun time. Fun time fighting for international pride.
Last hurrah.
Beat the Spaniards, beat the Polish, beat the British, beat the Australians for America. You know, the Olympics of Kill Team for America.
The Olympics of Kill Team. There we go.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
All right, guys. And
if you keep letting me talk, I'm just gonna ramble.
I know
tired.
you're gonna keep going. So let's just end it here. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Until next time. See ya.
See ya.